All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board Workshop Session. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2026. For the workshop, I will turn the meeting over to Mr. Schroeder, who will walk us through our applications that we will be reviewing during our public hearing starting at 9 o'clock this morning. So, Brett,
Good morning.
morning.
Just as a reminder about Robert's rules, this board operates under those, so during workshop as well as the meeting, if you can't participate in the public hearing part of the case in the meeting, you also can't participate in the workshop. Workshop, you don't necessarily have to leave the room, but like you do during the public hearing portion, but just try to remember you can't participate in those discussions either. So this morning we'll have, the first thing is the Brookside Design Standard booklet. I was thinking on the way in this morning, what's different about this booklet? And really it's nothing other than it's all put together. We've seen all of this in pieces. We saw part of it in the beginning when we looked at site plan and landscape. We saw it in pictures and thoughts when we looked at the individual buildings and got their architecture going and stuff like that. So this is just kind of culminating that all together. This is a condition that they had to do, which is the reason they're here to get this specific booklet approved. So we'll go through that real quick.
The only question I had is, for example, what's in the design guide, there's only 3 bricks.
There's 3 what?
3 brick selections.
Okay.
Is it anticipated the whole development will use just those 3 bricks, or do you know, do they plan to come back at some point and update the design guide as they design the other buildings, or? Because we've only looked at the one, right? The one building out.
Yeah, we could do either way. It'll get added in, but I don't know that if you guys approve it for a building, you're going to, everything moving forward, you'll approve based on these sort of put together rather than, okay, well, what did we look at over here?
Right.
Now we're going to get a look at the booklet. So moving forward, in theory, if you approve something that goes with the booklet, it goes in the booklet.
It goes in the booklet.
Yeah, but the booklet wouldn't need to come back here.
Okay.
We would just get them to add it up. That way at the end, then we have a full package of for staff, a full package of what everything for the site.
Right.
I'll tell you what, Brett, let me read this condition. That's part of it from the city councils that they had. All right, it was condition number 31. It says, prior to LDP, the applicant shall submit for approval a document to be entitled Portman Brookside Design Standards. This document shall include elevations or architectural themes of buildings, specifications for street furniture, including benches, trash receptacles, lighting, focal point features, bicycle racks, bus shelters, signage, landscaping themes, and entrance treatments, and shall be substantially similar to the submitted renderings as amended. Design standards will be presented to staff and the DRB for review and approval.
And one thing that will not be, I don't know that it's in here, but one thing we wouldn't do is the art stuff. I did hear that one part because that's not approved by this board. So we can't push that into these. They could add it after they've got their I'm sorry, Mr. Kramer, what was the term for it? What did it? Focal features, focal points?
Yeah, it's discussed in there. I mean,
It's
yeah,
right, but the actual to say, oh, well, this is the
specific.
yeah, that would have to come after the Arts Commission and all that.
Focal point features.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like what's in here is conceptual, for the most part, is
Yeah.
conceptual things, but then specific materials.
Yeah, and Mr. Kramer has seen that language before, that exact thing in other places, and I'm sure it will come forward, hopefully, again, as another condition. Okay. So these buildings to the left of this picture, we saw the squares. We haven't seen the buildings yet. The intent, again, from the landlord is that each of those tenants will bring their portion of that building, and the landlord as the sort of the structure of the building forward as it comes. So, but we have seen this on the left, or excuse me, on the right. But what this does give us is that the board can use in future things is feel, concept,
I think,
things like that of the coming buildings.
I think the key word was theme.
Theme.
Architectural theme.
Yeah,
of
theme.
buildings.
Seen this building. I really like this building, and I hope that this little, it looks to me like just a little nook of an area building. I hope this one comes to fruition. This would be a nice. I'd like it's be similar to the Avalon. We call them the islands, but a little more functionality to it. It feels like the things in the middle of the boulevard at Avalon just are like almost were afterthoughts or something. They don't quite feel right.
Well, you're surrounded by traffic too. You got a street on both
And
sides.
yeah, with the street on both sides, and even though it's not like, at least it's not 30-mile-an-hour traffic, or it shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
This is that pool area again of the building that we've already seen. Materials. Landscape palettes. I gotta say, it's gonna be a pretty sight in the fall. It's got a lot of unique fall colors that aren't just gonna be red all the way through or yellow all the way through. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. Then you've got a couple of the entrances. Multi-use trail area that I just heard they're diligently working on getting that designed and ready to go. So. And I don't know where you grow these trees, but I want some of these in my yard.
Not around here.
I like that detail though,
Yes,
and it's kind of more rustic and natural. I had a little bit of concerns about the lightness of some of the bench and chair on the left. I don't know if it's planned to be bolted down for the bench, but the rocker, those things tend to disappear and
moved around.
or get moved around and thrown in.
That's, yes, I agree, and that's one of the things that hopefully landlords, take that into consideration and push that sort of hard. I like the wood and wood look accents bringing in, because I think it really grounds all the hardness that you have in all the brick and steel
Totally agree.
and all that. It really brings you down to earth and helps work in the landscape as well. This picture over here, this granite block, I mean, I like the granite blocks as well, but if it were my choice, they'd be all wood. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure the skateboarders like that material either.
probably not.
That's a plus.
And that may be a good reason why we use some rough granite in places. It also really hurts when you fall. And I can see boards laying on these and the kids ramping them. Just, I mean, I would have been there.
There'll be a rocking chair on top of that one.
I'd have been there, yeah.
Is there currently a MARTA stop there now? Or is
I don't
it
think
being
so.
planned for?
Well, there might be one back in by the school,
Oh.
potentially, but I know there's not one on Old Milton.
Okay, now that they've done some of their new routes too and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just heard the other day that I need to get, there's like 3 of them on, 2 of them, I think, along Windward Parkway that we need to get removed. MARTA's not gonna service them, and they're not gonna
Oh, is that right?
stop there anymore, so,
Is it our responsibility to remove them, or is it?
well, no, it'll be the landlord,
I
but
see.
they're becoming
Well,
housing,
temporary,
temporary housing,
a tiny house,
yeah. So we gotta get them taken care of.
okay.
Some really unique lighting.
All
And
of
then again, all this will, is gonna be art stuff, art commission, but it's nice to see that they have a desire to do it. So. And some signage. Lots of different styles here, which is good. Staff took a tour last week of the Battery, and looked at a lot of different stuff that was done up there. And one of the things that I took note of was all the different styles of signs. We've done some things here that we're gonna tweak based on that. We've made some prohibitions and stuff that are gonna be somewhat problematic moving forward. But when you have a development, not everything should look the same. If everything looks the same, it's gonna become dull and outdated quickly. So you need some difference, and I think they've done a pretty good job here at showing some difference. You've got some,
Brett, I agree at the Battery, true, because that's one development.
Yes.
And it's really all together, so.
yeah, it's all together. You got basically 4 streets and pedestrian areas that you walk, and you see everything from the vinyl adhered banner material that looks like paint on brick to face illuminated signs that we've prohibited here in the city, to actual painted signs, to bulb illuminated, like the old, might call it the old Las Vegas style sign with the individual bulbs shining to the face and no diffuser cover on it. There's a lot. And
I agree. I think I just like to caution that, for developments, yes, that makes sense, but maybe citywide, it doesn't necessarily make sense. It may make sense in some areas.
exactly. So that's where we might need to make some tweaks, because when we put something prohibited, then theoretically, you can't get a variance to that or anything. So we're gonna need to tweak some stuff. There you go, that's that. Then we have Trey Fratelli. They are moving across the street, which was
Butcher Brew.
Butcher and Brew. Is it Butcher and Brew?
No, it was Academy Bar now, but it was Butcher.
Yeah,
Brew.
Academy Bar, okay, Butcher and Brew. Oh, yeah, South Main Kitchen was the beside it. So it was Butcher and Brew, now it's gonna go back. This is actually one of the co-owners when it was Butcher and Brew. And he's coming back and gonna do family Italian minus pizza, because he feels there's already enough good pizza in downtown that he doesn't wanna try to compete with what's already working. So, I'm gonna do a very simple sign.
And at first, I thought this was gonna stand up on top of the canopy.
There's potential.
Oh, okay.
We're evaluating that.
Because that's the way Butcher and Brews.
Butcher and Brews was, yes. So we're evaluating that. It's either gonna be on the wall or out at the edge of the canopy. Not really sure yet.
Yeah, I mean, the advantage of the canopy is damage the brick, right? Putting up this.
At the edge of the canopy, you do have the benefit that you don't damage any of the brick, which is definitely old and it's gonna create problems, and we don't really wanna go down that route. So yeah, it could sit on the canopy. There's some potential structural issues with the canopy that we don't really know.
The other tricky thing is the mounting details, is where you're not seeing bracing and stuff. But the good thing about having it at the front of the canopy is when you're walking down Main Street, if it's pushed back on the brick, from a lot of views, you
Yep.
won't be able to see it.
Well, but then you don't get necessarily the halo effect. If it's on the brick, you get the halo.
You could get the halo. You can still get that. You can do, and I've been working with the new owner and sign company of the office building out front here. I can't think of who was in there. Datascan. On how you can do some different lighting, and you can actually basically just take the face of a letter and put it behind the letter. And then that's what would glow off. It's not gonna give you the exact feel unless you expand it a little bit wider than the letter, but it's pretty close. And that would be a good use in this case because they want sort of an outline. Also, we saw one that was done that way up at the Battery. I didn't get to see it at night, but next time I'm up there, if I remember, I'll look at that one, but I think I'll have other things on my mind. Then we've got Publix. Publix is wants to do a refresh. Want to use the colors that most places are going to now, all the creams and whites and grays and black. So they've done a pretty good job here at numbering out where colors are going to go, representing them in pictures. I think, some of it looks a little brighter than probably what really, like this number 4 looks like it's almost white in the renderings, but
And it looks like they're not painting any of the brick that's there today. They're just painting what's already painted. So that's
they might have heard that from someone, potentially.
Funny thing is, some of those corbels, you never really noticed them before, but they're really tiny.
Yes, they are. They are. I feel like we need to give them some guidance on this side. I think there's something that,
Aren't there some raised panels up in that area up high?
I don't know, I'll have to pull
I didn't drive on that
I'll
side.
have to look at
Because you look at some of the other elevations, they do have some of those raised panels.
yeah, and if those are there, they're just not really showing in the way the rendering's done.
Right.
So they would still come through, but
If they wanted to have some subtle color difference on that facade, there's control joints that they could paint to where you have good, like natural breakpoints if they chose to do.
yeah,
that.
I mean, they could potentially even, it looks like there's one here,
Yep. Yeah.
and so there's probably one there.
Yeah, you could
I mean,
even see it.
you could potentially paint this a different color, or these two different, and leave the center one and break that facade up a little bit.
The other thing I was thinking as a thought is if you very subtly had a slightly different color for these columns going all the way up and across the top, maybe, and then had the panel over the storefront, it would help kind of articulate the column rhythm.
Yeah, I agree. This needs a little help, a little bit more interest.
And this is the Main Street side, even though it's down the hill, across the green, it's still the Main Street side, so.
I mean, it looked like what they did is they painted it the way it is painted now, just
Yeah.
with different colors, right? There's
Mhm.
really not a lot of, other than the corbel accent, a lot of changes.
Okay, and then we have Mayfair at Haynesbridge. This one, if you remember, is the one we're coming back to look at a couple of the specifics. Basically the corner, I think, and then we wanted to look at, these two corners, and then just confirm that this wasn't one right after another going down Haynesbridge Road.
Yeah, well, last time we deferred because we didn't have specific call-outs on, this material's used here, or this one's used here. or
Right.
this, Right.
So I think they've got that, and now a little bit of a focus on sort of those, a little more visible structures.
Yeah, there's some colored renderings, that helps. So.
Yeah. Site plan, which will make it a whole lot easier to reference. The last site plan, everything was correct, but it was hard to,
And it looks like now they've cleared this phase 2 or the second part of that site on down
yeah,
to the,
they have. And she's labeled, elevation letters on here too.
yes.
If you notice that, so. And then the colored renderings going through these specifics. Oh, and I like how they said, okay, this is lot 1,
Yes.
and this is lot 17, even though it's all A, this was the important side we were looking at lot 1, which is here. So. Well, there was something about was there something about the driveways on these two lots, Mr. Schwing, that you were, or was that a
No,
different?
that was a different project.
That was
Dri-
the Thompson
that was
Street one
Thompson
where we,
Street, where the driveways were oriented out towards Thompson.
yes,
as opposed
yeah,
to-
we want them on the other side, yeah. Okay, so that's that,
And it looks like you kept in the application from March.
from previous, yeah, just in case we needed more to reference back to.
All right. And then the Market District.
Market District is complete. They're gonna be, they're working, actually, talk to, so for the board's purview, there were a couple of little things that weren't really clear in some of the images that were shown on the 116, 120, no, excuse me, the 126 buildings. They're both 126, actually, two 4-story buildings on North Main Street. And so they're done, pretty well complete on the outside. So I took Mr. Kramer and Mr. Swing up there. After our last meeting, we walked around with Tracy Ward, the architect, and looked at a couple different areas. They're going to be adding some additional climbing, landscaping in a couple of spots that Jennifer and I worked through. She thinks he'll do well in the area. And so they'll be adding that, but the buildings on the outside are almost complete. There's a couple little touch-ups they're gonna do. They're gonna do some iron work on, if you look closely, they're still designing some iron work for the balconies on the rear building. So that'll get done soon. But I think everything else, all the awnings are up now. The yellow and white striped awnings look awesome on the building. Really makes that building stand out. And I hope they keep them. There's already been some questions of, do we have to keep those? And so far they're telling them yes, but we'll see.
Brett, there's a little differentiation on the parapet top.
There is a little differentiation on the parapet top, from what was shown in the renderings, but on the drawings, it was shown correct, well, it was shown it sort of as is now, but in the renderings, it looked a lot darker, and,
Well, there were some glass panels up
there
there.
would,
but I
there
think-
appeared to be some glass panels that were shown up there, just wasn't gonna work out with waterproof, it was waterproofing, wasn't it?
No, well, it was the rooftop equipment and stuff that you'll.
Oh, that's right. When they got the rooftop RTU unit designed from the engineer, they saw that you were definitely going to be able to see through those glass panels, and so they bricked the glass panels up, which then really helped their waterproofing engineer that said, yeah, I like that a whole lot better than a glass panel, so.
They changed the brick color though to. still
They did
kind of
change off the
that-
brick color to,
That theme of
Yeah.
kind of a corbelled or.
so we used Mr. Kramer's expertise in architecture,
I wouldn't call it
and,
expertise.
well, I mean, he's the longest sitting architect up there, so he's our
Make it
expert.
look nice.
To determine whether we felt like it was something that could move forward or had to come back here because it was egregious enough, and we decided that it was fine to move forward, and so they'll be occupying some stuff pretty soon.
And the buildings look good.
The buildings look great.
Very nice.
They're an awesome addition to North Main Street. So, speaking of, we don't have yet, but we have a person that Mr. Brady Councilman Brady has said he's going to appoint, and we have her scheduled for next week to get appointed. So hopefully we'll see a familiar face in June.
Okay, back on the board. All right, very good.
So
Okay, anything else, Brett, this morning?
I think that's it.
All right, let's adjourn the workshop session. Go get our coffee cups filled and get back here in just a couple minutes and get started with our public hearing. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2026. Our first order of business this morning is call to order, which I've done. Roll call. So thank you for being here this morning. I know Mr. Corkle is not here this morning, but we have Ms. Matherly standing in for Pat. So Kim, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We do have a quorum, so we can have a meeting this morning. Okay, just a gentle reminder, if you make sure your phones are in the silent positions, I appreciate that. And then let's stand, face the flag, and have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Okay, thank you for that. Do we have any items from staff this morning? Anything from Brett, Joel, or Ellie this morning? Looking at nothing? Okay, all right. I assume the Taste of Alpharetta was a success last night?
I
Or-
assume it's all cleaned up. I booked out of town as quickly as possible
Okay.
yesterday. It's,
Looked
yeah,
good this
it's done.
morning.
I don't have to work it anymore.
Okay, well, thank you for your prior service on
Yeah.
that, so.
Just one thing, just a reminder to please make sure you turn on your microphone and speak into the microphone when you talk or make a motion, because it's hard for me to hear the meeting minutes if I can't hear you. Thank
So
you.
it sounds like it's the recording that's not picking our what we're saying up very well, is that right? Because it seems like we can hear ourselves in
The
here pretty
microphones are
well.
very sensitive, so, but if you don't, sometimes people don't get close enough and because they think they're too loud, but for the recording, they're not that loud.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, we'll try to speak clearly and closely. All right, very good, thank you for that. Do we have any items from board members this morning? Anything from board members? Nothing? Okay, very good. All right.
I do have one thing.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Palmer,
Speak. into the
I've asked Ms. Palmer to come next month to receive her plaque.
Okay,
She was going to come today. I didn't think it was in, but I got an email that it's here. So we could have done it this morning, but she's going to be here next month, so we'll put that on the agenda first
Okay, good.
for next month.
all right, very good. Nice to have her back then. All right, good for that. All right. Our next item is to approve the meeting minutes from our April 17th, 2026 meeting. But I understand there's still some more tweaks and changes that we need to make
Right.
to those minutes.
Board Member Swing found some errors, and also I need to relook at the motion for Dolce. So I'm going to do that, and I'll probably send it to you guys ahead of time again. I went off the transcript, but I'll try to re-listen to the minutes and do the transcript.
I have some notes too that I could share with
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay. And Ellie, I did note one thing too, I found last night, that the vote to approve the meeting minutes March 20th was 7-0, and it should be 6-0, because there was only 6 of us present, so just, did you do that too? Okay, I'm sorry, Frank, you may have caught that, thank you for doing, okay. All right, so we'll postpone approving the minutes from our April meeting and get on to new business this morning. So our first applicant this morning is the Portland Residential folks. Are you here? Come on down, please. And if you'll make sure you speak into the microphone, name and
Good morning.
identify yourselves, name and address, and then give us an overview of what we have in our packets today, please. And good morning, too. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Forgive the last minute setup here.
I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing. I need to read the procedure, public hearing procedure. And An individual requesting to be heard on a matter related to the purpose of the hearing must be recognized by the chair before addressing the board. Upon rising to speak, the speaker must identify himself or herself and furnish a home or business address before proceeding with any comments or remarks. The commission will allow the proponents a total of 10 minutes to speak in support of an application, and opponents will be allowed 10 minutes to speak in opposition. Comments are first accepted from the applicant, followed by persons speaking in favor, and then from those in opposition. Upon conclusion of any opposing comments or presentations, the chair will allow the applicant to offer rebuttal if any time is remaining in the allotted 10 minutes, and the chair has the discretion to allow more time if needed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ally, for that. Okay. All right, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Robinson. I represent SK&I Architecture. I've been working with Portman Holdings here on the Brookside Village project for quite some time. And this morning, we are here to present to you the design guidelines for the site. So I'll just sort of roll right into it.
Yes.
As a general caveat or introduction and reminder, the goal for the development of these retail sites is to go through a separate DRB hearing for each of them as we develop designs. The intent of that is really to foster creativity and get as much of a dynamic site as possible. As a result, the guidelines that we're going to present to you today are really focused on kind of the threads that we hope will tie everything together and less on the special moments that each of the retailers will ultimately be bringing with their murals, their signage, whatever other aesthetic design elements they might bring to the site. And incidentally, as you go through this, as you noticed from Brett's presentation earlier, a lot of what's in this design guideline is landscape and streetscape oriented. In our opinion, that is one of the bigger threads that is tying the site together, and also is kind of merging a lot of the park-centric softscape and hardscape elements with the more village retail-centric. And so there's a little bit of a dynamic there, which you see with some of the furnishing selections and things like that. So we'll talk about that as we go through.
Okay,
Just wanted to make all that clear.
good. Thank you.
Hopefully I'm close enough to the mic. So jumping right into this, as we go through, and weirdly enough, today my computer decided to be very slow.
It's the day
Brett, I
after
don't
Taste of
suppose you're
Alfredo,
willing
so
to share your screen. It might just be a little bit more efficient. Let me disconnect this. Oh, well, that works. Thank you for the inconvenience.
That way you can.
Perfect. All right, well, so we'll just go through this really quickly. Yeah. Yep. So this document is basically organized in, architecture, materials, then landscape, and then design features. As Brett mentioned earlier, everything in this document is stuff that you've seen before, maybe with the exception of some of the illustrative artwork and some of the illustrative signage that we're showing. So really, this is just, again, focusing on all of the architectural elements and landscape elements that we hope will tie the site together without necessarily limiting the creativity of future design. Again, first rendering on the right is the multifamily building. There is retail in that building. Each of those facades will ultimately get resubmitted with tenants. On the left side here, you can see an example of the freestanding retail, the use of brick, the use of canopies to create human scale. We're very interested in introducing softscape and greenery into and around those retail frontages, and you'll see that as a theme throughout. Moving on, this is really just the Old Milton Parkway frontage, but it does kind of speak to what our goal is, which is kind of a village, town, sort of smaller scale feel, even on some of the larger elements of the building. And then as we move into here, you can start to see some of those elements again. Again, the brick that we're using is meant to sort of help tie the site together, knowing that all the spaces in between the brick will ultimately probably be something very different. The canopies, again, are introducing human scale, sheltered areas for visitors, and also, introducing zones where we can introduce softscape, plantings, things of that nature, with the goal that it be as pedestrian-friendly as possible. This is really just a shot of the multifamily building again, but the intent here is to show the retail frontage along that street and how that will interact with the retail elements that are across from it. We can skip this basically. This is a really good example of sort of how we plan to bring all of our elements together. This is the retail site that is between the office building and the multifamily building and the park next to the amphitheater. And it's a perfect example of how we're trying to marry everything on this site up. All of the sort of parkside amenities, the greenscape, lawn areas, outdoor seating, human scale, strong, durable materials that are aesthetically pleasing, establishing a sort of village scale. All of that is represented here in one way, shape, or form, and it's a good example of our ultimate goal. This shot really is here to show the other side of our site, which is this sort of park-like, not park-like, actual park path system, and the pedestrian amenities around it, and how we plan to tie that directly into the rest of our site, and create kind of a layered approach to how elements that are coming off of the park circulation kind of spread in to the landscape elements in the retail area and vice versa, kind of create a soft transition.
Remind me, is the lower path down there, is that part of the Greenway or the Alpha Loop? Or Plan A?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's on the Portman side of the park, but it is the path that is extending all the way down. On the left side of this is where it ties into the actual Greenway connection.
Okay.
And on the right here, that connection that's running up on the south side of the multifamily building, that's what extends past the office building and ties in directly with the retail. So as noted, this site page is rather brief. Part of the reason it's brief is we really wanted to only focus on sort of the common elements that are tying everything together, fully anticipating each of our retail tenants to come in and throw a whole bunch of additional stuff on top of this. But what we wanted to do was sort of establish the threads that will help tie everything together. We don't necessarily want a yellow brick or something like that thrown out there. Unless it makes sense, it might make sense, and then we'll look at it at a DRB in the future. But generally speaking, we wanted to find the elements that we could use to tie everything together. So this is pulling primarily from the multifamily building some of the strategic materials that we think will do that job, but do it subtly and give room for the sort of more splashy retail identity stuff in the future. Same thing with the site palette. These are strategically selected elements from the landscape materials that have been selected over the course of our approval. Again, looking at sort of just broadly the colors and materials, textures that we'll be using throughout the site, pull everything together. Very interested in sort of the combination of the concretes and woods, with a little bit of metal thrown in there. So, as I mentioned at the very beginning, we feel that the site work on this site, the landscape and the hardscape features in the streetscape, really are the biggest, strongest tool we have for tying everything together and ultimately creating a successful pedestrian-friendly environment. So that is the focus of, or our focus to date. It's ultimately what our retail tenants will have the least control over. So we wanted to make sure that it was cohesive and something that would be appealing and successful ultimately. So on this page, again, you can see that we're trying to bridge and marry a very sort of nature-centric park-like atmosphere with a little bit of featured retail and outdoor pavilion and seating elements to create a more friendly retail experience, outdoor experience. And then as Brett mentioned, everything about this site is to introduce as many tree varieties as possible, introduce seasonal colors, make the space as dynamic as possible. And it sort of plays into our goal to make the retail spaces as dynamic as possible as well by going through individual reviews and approval processes for them. We wanted to carry that same frame of mind into the more natural aspects of the site as well. And honestly, I feel like our landscape architect core has done a really good job of selecting plants and trees that will accomplish that. So the next couple of pages are really just going through their selections. It's also worth noting that they took care to make sure that all of these plantings would have distinct and aesthetic appearances year-round. So we were conscientious of that as well, including our evergreen selections. Some of our smaller ground cover and medium-sized plants, again, the idea is to create variety and allow for a broad amount of colors and textures and aesthetics. Introducing a lot of tall grasses here and there. Again, this is something that we're using to marry up the more natural spaces with the more manicured town center spaces. And then as we look at the site from a plan view, we're really just looking at those moments where we plan to emphasize or create moments of interest. Again, trying to create smaller pocket elements across the site, throughout the site, that help break it up, help create sort of human scale spaces. So we plan to use the streetscapes pretty heavily to do that, breaking them up with seating arrangements and built-in elements. We also have a couple of places where we're using sculptural elements, not just mural artwork, but also physical built sculptural elements in a couple of key places. In this case, here on the bottom of the site, this is a sort of the central location between the multifamily office and retail spaces of the site. And again, really just more of the same, looking to the streetscape really to create the variety on the site that we're looking to achieve. We're really trying to avoid, it came up actually unexpectedly in the pre-meeting, we're really trying to avoid that holistic, everything looks the same subdivision feel, and we really want to create this really dynamic.
It's been 13 minutes, but I'm just,
Okay, well, I can,
Okay, well, I think we're all interested in continue on. I think you're doing a good job of kind of giving us an overview of what you're
I'll speed up a little bit.
That's
Um,
all right. I was just
I'm
gonna
not
ask you,
trying to speed you up, I just have to do,
okay, no, it's all good.
No
Ellie.
worries.
If you'll go back to that previous, there you go. So the white boxes, the 4 white boxes there now, those are anticipated to be restaurants? or some
Correct.
sort of food establishment, I guess?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I would estimate that roughly 50% of the retail spaces on the site, if not slightly more than that, are anticipated to be some sort of food service.
Okay, just be cognizant, a lot of times they have to have a back of house for those restaurants or food service.
Correct.
And those are not necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing or attractive areas. So
Correct.
just have to be a little bit more focused on those to make sure they don't stand out or they're not visible that much.
The other thing is your gas meters, your transformers, trying to make sure those,
Yes.
I see your transformers were marked, but
Some of the necessary,
I can
evils
speak
we
to
have.
that very specifically. So these 4 buildings, which are meant to be restaurants, the red hatch that you can see sort of in between the buildings on the ends and in between are meant to be outdoor seating. The areas where we anticipate, back of house for those spaces is on the 2 buildings on the north side is basically on the back, between those screen trees
Okay.
and the buildings.
All right.
And on the south 2 buildings, we're creating kind of a fenced-in zone here that will be back of house for those 2.
Good, you're thinking about it. So
We are thinking
that's
about it. As, well, yes, we are absolutely thinking about it. This portion of the site is really where we bridge into the Brookside Park. And again, we have a multimodal trail, we have dog park services, we have the formal entry there on the northwest end, and then really that trail connects all the way down from the north side of the site to the south side of the site. And the goal is to make that feel as much like a park as possible, and then to sort of transition those traditional park amenities into sort of a more town center, village-like amenities as we move east into the retail spaces. And then you can sort of see that in our streetscape selections, where we have sort of the more modern wood and metal on the left here, and then we also have, granite blocks, all the way to these large Columbia Cascadia benches. The idea being to try to sort of commingle those 2 expectations of sort of park-like features and more urban, more modern features, and sort of scattering them across the site accordingly. Same thing's true here. Really looking to introduce sort of very contemporary features on the site, as you can see from our various wastebasket and bike rack selections, but also very intentionally trying to pull softscape into the site, even with the use of planters, and using those planters to introduce color and texture and shape.
are the plantings that you're going to be using for these movable planters, are they going to be like drought-resistant type of things, or are they going to be irrigated? Because that's a problem that often happens where the intentions are great, but the plant dies, or it has to be hand-watered every day.
Honestly, I'm not the best person to answer that question, but I can tell you that the plant selections that the landscape architect has made to date are mostly native and drought resistant. There are absolutely some exceptions, but we also anticipate that a lot of the planters will wind up being part of retailers' frontages, and the maintenance of those will be part of the deals that Portman makes with those retail tenants.
A note about observing your examples there in those planters. The answer would be yes, that those are drought-tolerant plants, and we would want to see any of your planters to be irrigated.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think since they're street life movable planters, I don't think they're gonna be irrigated, but hand watered probably is I would think was the intention.
Yes, that's a new task taken on by a lot of contractors to send their pickup trucks and their watering,
Yes,
watering tanks out early in the morning.
including Alpharetta.
Noted, appreciate it. And then, yes, we do sort of, kind of, have a bus stop on the site. It is moving around. There's one on Brookside Parkway, down on the Phase 2 portion of the site. But because of where it is and because there is a potential curb cut that is maybe interfering with its current location, there's a chance that it'll get moved or relocated. And the reason it's included in here is depending on where bus routes wind up going, and the city may want to move the bus stop closer to the retail spaces. We wanted to make sure that it's in here. But at the moment, that existing bus stop is down on the Phase 2, much closer to the campus site, the university site. This is an example of what was done at Avalon. We're not necessarily saying that we're going to do exactly the same thing, but the idea is to do something a little bit more elevated than the city standard.
Yeah, I was going to say, depending on where this is, you might want to punch this up a little bit to make it look a little less utilitarian.
Understood. I'm sure the dirt background is not helping. And then, again, just looking very broadly at this point, we're just looking at goals and intent for the site. We want very understated lighting that's there, it's doing its job, but at the same time, it's not screaming, look at me. So everything is soft, everything is sort of ground and use-centric lighting with, obviously the exception of some lighting for signage and things of that nature. But again, the goal is soft, glowing, unobtrusive lighting throughout. And these are some of the examples of fixtures that we plan to use to achieve that. As you'll see, a lot of the lighting is in-ground lighting or uplighting that we plan to use for lighting the softscape, and also pendant lights and wall-mounted lights, all designed to create sort of soft glows here and there.
On a point about that, I do commend you for your lighting selections, because it's always a better rule of thumb to see the result of the light other than the source of the light. Because, for instance, over here on Old Roswell Street, the light bollards, you're staring at the source of the light instead of more so the result of it.
Yeah, that was absolutely important to our whole team. And then again, on that point, we plan to introduce an awful lot of art, specifically in art murals that will be curated and approved through Art Commission. But this gives you a sort of a holistic approach of stylistically kind of what we've hoping to achieve. And again, it's about creating variety and a dynamic space.
From the architectural perspective, have you identified any areas on the buildings for murals? Or is this just more?
We do have
Okay,
at least one spot for a mural on the multifamily building.
okay.
We haven't gotten to the point where we've started identifying more than in the site plan. So the landscape plans do identify a couple of mural opportunity locations, but we haven't really gotten into the specifics of what those are going to look like yet.
Well, it's glad you're thinking about it ahead of time rather than an after the fact or after the thought, so that it's planned to complement and fit in with the architecture of the buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And lastly, we have sort of the complement to the art on the site is the signage. We feel pretty strongly that the two are basically the same. And we will be trying very hard to sort of marry up our art installations with our signage installations and get them to be as cohesive and compatible as possible. and play off of each other. And there are some examples of that here on this page. But again, we're looking to create kind of this very dynamic, diverse village-like atmosphere. So we plan to push our retail tenants to come up with as diverse and interesting a selection of signage as possible. Hence why we're showing the variety that we are on this page. And that's really it. With, again, the focus of this document is to illustrate the sort of the little things that we plan to use to tie everything together, with the anticipation of there being pretty significant design moves by each individual tenant to introduce variety and dynamic spaces.
Okay, very good. Well, I think, I'm not going to read the city council condition number 31, but I think this covers almost all the items and everything identified in that condition, so the design guide does at least, so. And I know part of that is having the design review board approve the design guide booklet as well as staff look at it too. So I assume staff has looked at it. Has staff had any comments or questions or, okay, all right. All right.
I'd like to make a couple of notes about reviewing your presentation. It's, as you've noted, you've got a marvelous essence of what you're trying to present here. These are notes to take back to your landscape architecture office. If we're on page 20, the look and feel and imagery, I'm curious what they were trying to express with that upper right square. It looks like a controlled burn in a South Georgia pine forest. And maybe that's the creek, I don't know.
Yeah, I suspect that's just a representation of the existing trees that we're trying to protect
Yeah.
on the park side.
Yeah, and I have great memories of this entire space because before any of this was developed, 30 or 40 years ago, my wife used to ride her horse through this area, and it was quite a wonderland. Moving on to the right, getting to the page 25, the plant palette of deciduous plants. Have your landscape architect review this one because half of these are not deciduous. They are evergreen. And you may want to designate that. And on the next page, the ornamental grasses page and perennials, there's some disparity in the photograph and the name of the caption that don't match. That they can figure that out.
Okay.
I do commend you for your Elberton granite block seat because it's an indigenous Georgia material, and oftentimes we don't use indigenous Georgia granite, and it's nice to see it here. So that's the extent of my comments on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one other thing on landscaping, from personal experience. You have a river birch in here in your palette, and it's a good-looking tree, but it's a very messy tree. So you might have a lot of cleanup around wherever you put those trees. So
Maybe they have a newer version of the river
do
birch.
the clean river birch.
Some sort of hybrid.
So it's
Yeah.
fine if you want to use it. It just it does drop a lot of things. So.
Noted.
Maybe that's a note that staff could take back to David Shostak about some of the landscaping items, if they can switch out or make sure the plants are identified accurately. All right, before we have any.
Pardon me, Richard,
Go ahead.
there was one tree note that I overlooked. It's commendable to see the variety of tree color that you're using, because that's something that we miss an opportunity on too often. But I would note too, your landscape architect, regarding on page 21, you have an autumn blaze red maple. If you look at that green leaf, this tree is a cultivar of a silver maple. And any of you who moved into a house that has silver maples in the yard. You have rued the day that it was there, and you've probably taken them out already. It's another one of those trashy trees that can be trashy, just for the record.
Yes, Richard, I have one of those trees in my yard, and it does get the, I wish I had planted something differently.
Yeah.
Okay, before we have,
Richard, I want to
Yes.
make one comment real quick, just about the overall presentation that I really appreciated. The way that you set the context and explained the intent behind a lot of the selections, I just think did a really nice job of setting the foundation for kind of what we're reviewing, why the selections were made. And I know I'm one of the newer members of the DRB, and I know sometimes we jump straight into, building materials and landscape selections and don't entirely understand the why and the intent behind it. And I know, for example, one of the things that I noticed looking at this originally was, the building materials felt a little bit uniform. They explained that, the retail boxes are going to introduce the variety. And so just the overall intentionality behind it and the strategy behind it, I thought was really helpful in understanding really the intent behind what you chose and gave some great context. So just wanted to commend you on that and thank you for that.
Good comment.
well said, thank you for that. All right, anything else from board members this morning? All right, I'll ask for, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? All right, no public comment. All right.
All right, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 250039, Portman Residential, motion to approve the design guide as presented with the applicant to make the corrections discussed today and consider the comments on the landscaping related to some of the tree selections and some of the plantings that are non-deciduous, end of motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Owens. Any questions or comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Well done.
Thanks for letting me use your machine. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. All right, our next applicant this morning is Trey Fratelli. You're here, come on down or come on up, please. All right, good morning, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Make sure you, if you'll speak in the microphone, introduce yourself this morning, name and address, please.
Good morning. My name's Jim Tardif. I own Signs of Significance. My home address is 940 Champions Fairway Drive in Milton/Alpharetta.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Marcus Bafaro. I'm opening up Trey Fratelli at 3 South Main Street. I live at 408 Wilshire Lane, Canton, Georgia, 30115.
Okay, give us an overview or review of what we have in packet today, please.
Why don't you start out with a little overview of the restaurant itself?
Sure. I'm going to do a approachable, affordable restaurant, kind of how restaurants used to be. Style, comfort food Italian, New York Italian-based. Hours of operation are 5 p.m. to 9, Monday through Thursday, and 5 to 10, Friday and Saturday. Not passing on credit card processing fees, kind of just taking a step back to what restaurants used to be. I mean, to be honest with you, I have a wife and 3 kids, and it's very expensive to go out to eat, and I feel like we could do it the old way if you do it the right way, and I think that it could be successful. Obviously, the margins are what come into play, but, we've been doing a lot of work on the back end, and I sell restaurants. I used to own South Main Kitchen. I do think that it could be done better, and everybody seems to sell burgers and fries and wings, and I'm not going to do any of those things. So I kind of just want to offer something else, and I really want people to feel that they can come 3 days a week with the family and get an affordable meal, and then I think if I approach it in that fashion, I think I should be busy enough that I can make it just fine. I mean, it's a regular old restaurant, but the way that it should be, to be honest with you.
Okay, very good. All right.
All right. Thank you, Marcus. So I'm here to represent the sign that we're proposing to put on the building. This isn't an exact duplicate, but it's basically a backlit channel letters individually mounted to the building. Obviously an opaque front, black with a gold trim around it. So that's what the letters would look like individually. And I know Brett spoke a little bit earlier on mounting the sign to the building. Our intent here as represented is they will be mounted 2 inches off the building. Each letter will be individually mounted 2 inches off the building with backlighting to create that halo lighting effect. There's a bit of a challenge as to how we get electricity to it, right? As you can see, potentially in the picture, the awning, that cement awning does have lights hanging in the center of it down. When we get up there to look at how the electricity is getting to those lights, we happen to run into Inspector Wells, and he helped us understand that that cement awning actually has an interior channel that the wires are run through. So when you get up on top of the awning, you see no electrical sources. So our thought is that we are going to not penetrate the building to push the wires all the way through, but as you see, the wires come out of the bottom of the building, or out of the bottom of the letter. And from there, we would use a conduit or wire mold to come down to the awning. And then from in my picture, the right edge of that awning, there's already a penetration in the building for some security wires, security camera wiring. We can bring an electrical out through that and up to the top of the awning, and then make all the connections all the way back to the building, so nobody will see it from the road, but we can run a junction box up there and then run all the wires to that connection.
Can I ask a quick question about, related to that? If there was a way to penetrate the facade just one time, is there a route that you could go
Penetrate for the.
for the electrical?
Oh, for electrical, okay.
Just one time, because there is one, right?
I get up there, I didn't see any penetrations all the way through the building, currently.
The thought that I had, and I don't know if anybody thinks this might work, but, you know, we don't want any raceways or
Right.
wire molds, obviously. And in looking at your sign, one way to overcome that is if you had a black with gold trim line right underneath the lettering, so it's part of the design, you might be able to get all the wiring in there and then just penetrate the building once, and then you wouldn't have any kind of, do you know what I mean? Make it
Yes.
part of the design?
Yeah, yeah, that's something certainly we can look at.
Do you know?
We're quite honestly still working with Marcus's electrician to figure out the best way to actually get the electrical source out to the sign.
Well, quick question, I'm sorry, quick question. So it looks like some of the letters, because they're in cursive, are connected, right? So does that mean like in the Fratelli, the R, the A, the T, the E, the L, and I only have one?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
good
in
too.
theory, there may be still four electrical
Individual.
conduits or wiring. Okay. Well, you know, the other thought I was thinking of, maybe there's some sort of a background, an overall background that, you know, instead of you see the letters on a background, and then that background is.
That's the other option.
is
I
attached to
like
the
it.
building, but it's,
You know,
I'm trying to, yes,
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it simple and not see wire molds or conduit or things of that nature coming. All right, I'm sorry, I interrupted the owner too.
I think I really like the thought, Mr. Owen, of having that line underneath it.
It's almost
Um,
like we're tricking a raceway, but it's part of the
Exactly,
design.
exactly.
I like it.
Because initially, I think Jim and I kind of talked about, well, in most cases, you would put a backer panel here just so you don't have so many brick penetrations from the letters themselves. Even though, you know, you can make the brick penetrations in the mortar, as we saw last month, that's not always a really clean repair later on. So, but I like the thought of this without the backer panel. Because I don't think years and years and years ago, they would have put a backer panel up there because it wouldn't have been illuminated. So they just would have stuck the letters up there. So I think that thought of a accent line underneath it and serving as a raceway,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
to their point, kind of tricking
I mean, connect.
yeah,
everybody into
Yeah.
thinking
Or
that
two.
it's a decorative raceway, basically, a designed-in raceway.
yeah.
For sure, I think it looks nice. And there is power, so on the right-hand side, that right door, above that door, there is a security camera and a speaker, so there is a conduit that does come in from outside. So there is power there, and I'm pretty sure that we can, which you wouldn't see it, just extend from that up onto the awning and pull
Right.
power up that
Yeah.
way, so you
Just
wouldn't
bring
see
it
it from anything,
Yeah.
from the road. The idea is to make it look clean, classic, so I mean, I think the line under it is great, to be honest with you.
And we can do the line with the gold trim, so it looks just
Yeah.
like the letter.
Yes, yeah, exactly, just,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I think you just somehow, yeah.
So then how do you get the power to it? You would come up from the awning?
There's a penetration in the building currently at the right end of the awning, underneath the awning, where the security camera wires.
So it'd be a penetration through the building, nothing,
Right, so we just come out, we take a wire out that same penetration.
wherever that would.
And just wrap it around the awning.
Yeah, because the old Butcher and Bruce sign was lit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was on the awning,
What-
though,
It was
right?
on the awning, yeah.
It's funny, because when you go up there, there's nothing there.
If
I
you
said,
could-
Jim, there's power up there for sure. We went up there on the ladder, and I said, there's nothing here. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's gone.
But if you look down at the Butcher Brew,
Yeah,
there is a conduit coming out of the building, and there's an electrical box attached to that.
You mean Shuck and Shack?
I'm sorry, what did I say?
Butcher and Bruce, Shuck
I'm
and Shack.
sorry, Shuck and Shack, all the way down there. He's put an electrical strip out there and plugged just some spotlights in to shine up on the Shuck and Shack sign. So we're effectively talking about doing the same thing at Marcus's end of the awning.
Just through a conduit, just
Right,
hardwired through a conduit. No outlets.
yeah, everything would be into a junction box.
I'm
at
not
that
doing
point.
Christmas lights or anything, it's just the signs.
It'll just be one hole that
that's
goes
what I'm,
through the brick,
yeah, that's my
so
understanding.
that you don't see any wire.
Correct.
Yeah, the hole is already there,
Okay.
yeah.
And okay, if the hole's already there, that's great.
So it's a
No.
conduit, actually.
And I guess we addressed this, I may have missed it, but now to mount the individual letters, you're gonna have to make some holes or penetrations in the brick,
That's correct.
okay? And like for the T, for instance, how many anchor, that like?
There would be
two,
three.
Three.
Yeah.
And then for the RE, you've got how many?
You'd probably have four on that.
Jim, would you have to if you do the line underneath? Could you mount them to the lot, to that,
Because then they'd be all connected.
and then
you
not
might-
not have anything attached to the build? Not have so many, you're still gonna
Not so-
have
right.
probably 6,
Right.
but you wouldn't have
Yeah,
4 on every
That's a
letter.
good point. If we mounted the letters to that quote-unquote raceway, a decorative
Oh,
raceway,
yeah, then it's all held together.
then we would have fewer per letter penetrations.
Yeah. And then are you doing the penetrations in the brick in the mortar joints, or are you doing it wherever the fasteners fall in the letter, for instance?
Well,
It's, because it
we
would
would
be,
try to do as many mortar joints as possible, but when the letter's fabricated, right, those mount points are fabricated into the letter.
yeah.
I want to say, I do think this is a really important conversation. I know last month we reviewed the Mediterranean restaurant that is downtown, and it's turning into a new restaurant. And while I hope this restaurant lasts a very long time, and I think it's a great concept, if there is a change, suddenly you've got holes in a very historic building in downtown Alpharetta that has a lot of history. And so I think we do need to be very, very thoughtful about that in these design considerations.
Yeah, if you get up there, you can tell that there were a lot of other signs up there.
Yeah.
Because there are holes.
That's where we got the idea from. You could see
when-
that there was a wall mounted that
Yeah.
somebody took off.
When we take signs down, one of our challenges is to repair as best we can. At a minimum, fill those holes with silicone so bugs and weather does get in there. But one thing that we potentially can do is, the raceway obviously will be a straight line. So we can line that up with a mortar joint. And then we could do some measurements off of that mortar joint to the other horizontal mortar joints and put the mounting points on the letters measured up to that particular point to attempt to get into the mortar joints as often as possible.
Okay.
It's also easier to attach using the mortar joints
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
drilling
it's-
into the brick.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to drill into the mortar joint.
Okay, any other, does everybody like the idea of having I guess, an underline kind of at the bottom of the sign there?
Yes,
I think
yeah.
that makes sense to be
It just,
around for one
yeah,
electrical connection.
we need to make sure though that the width of it is the same as the letters, that it's not like a 6-inch underline that looks like,
Yeah, well-
Yes, my brain, yes.
Yeah, same scale, and it would be the gold outline with the black in the center, just like the letter change.
Whenever we're putting LEDs into a channel letter, we need at least a minimum of 1.5 inches of stroke, which stroke is the width of the letter, to fit those LEDs in there. So we'll have to have at least 1.5 inches.
and you have to have enough space to collect all the wires.
Exactly, yeah. So 2 to 3 inches, something like that.
And then I guess that underline will have to connect the first letter in the sign and the last letter in the sign, right? To give it some
The
stability?
wires for each letter would go into that.
Okay.
And they would all go to a connection point at a junction box at that point.
Okay,
Right, and the line is also backlit, I guess, right?
Yes.
Just like the
Yeah,
letters.
okay.
Just curious, the brightness of the illumination behind it. How do we, and this may be a question for staff, but how do we know what the brightness is and that it fits within, that it isn't going to be a very bright, gaudy glow? I'm sure it's not, but like, just curious, how do we
So,
determine that?
yeah, so I look at the Kelvin scale that they have to submit with their, in their sign permit. And we've, through our downtown design guide for signage, we've chosen, and don't quote me, but I think it's 2K to 5K
Yeah, it's
is
2.5.
is the realm. So we don't get that really white light, and we don't get that really, really yellow light either. So we're sort of in the middle. So as long as I can remember
No, it
to,
is.
to look at that.
I'll back you up on that.
Well, I mean, when I look at the applications, as long as I remember to look at that application, make sure that it's 5, because I've seen some that have come at 8, 9 Kelvin, and so no, that's crazy up there. But, so, now, speaking of that, we may change that for other areas because of brighter white or something may work in some areas, but we chose downtown, we wanted that more muted light colors.
And everything inside is 2700. So it's got that amber glow to it, but it's not
So you're
too
gonna
dark.
want very similar,
Yeah.
if not exact, on the signage as well, so it doesn't reflect a different feel.
Yeah, all the light bulbs
inside
are
and outside.
2700 inside.
I guess that gets you color. I guess that tells you color temperature, it doesn't tell you brightness, right? So it's not lumens. So we
Well,
don't
it-
really have a
I
lumen
think it
standard.
relates.
Yeah.
It definitely relates. The higher the number, the brighter it's going to appear.
brighter.
The brighter it looks, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. One of the things that somewhat affects how bright this might be is how far off they set it as well, which we also described in downtown, I think was maximum 2 and a half, maybe, is that standoff for a halo thing, so we didn't get the really big glow, we got more of a defined glow.
Right. And in this case, it's mounted on brick, so it's not as reflective of a surface.
Exactly, so that's gonna diffuse a lot of it,
You know, the other thing that distance affects is shadows,
shadows.
right? When the sun's shining, if it's way off the building, you get a big shadow that's off-center to the sign.
Okay, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? All right, no public comment. All right, somebody want to craft a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 260-009, 3 South Main Street, I'd like to make a motion to approve the applicant's signage as presented with the following conditions. Signage will have no visible wiring conduit or junction boxes. The applicant will add a line to the bottom of the signage, similar in width to lettering, across the bottom of the sign to allow for collection of all wiring. The line will have a gold outline to match the rest of the signage. The applicant shall make all connection points for the signage into mortar joints as much as possible versus the masonry. The applicant will center the sign over the entrance door. End of motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Rowan, a second by Mr. Swing. Sorry, I was trying to finish writing down some of your, got it. All right, any comments or questions about the motion? I think that was pretty thorough, covered, I think you covered everything we talked about.
Well done.
Okay. Ms.,
I just wanted to clarify one point that you said. I didn't hear you say that the line will be backlit, and so we will
It's
backlit
okay.
the line.
I think it's inferred in our discussion, so
Okay.
I
It
did
should
hear the
be.
gold outline on the line, so,
Yeah.
okay. I think that's okay. Talked about that, so, okay. There being no further questions, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
I feel compelled to say again, great job with the presentation and the opening where you explained what the restaurant was and what you're going for and the market you're going for was super helpful in understanding why you chose the simplistic sign, because it models the simplistic nature of what you're going for. And it helps the discussion so much and helps us understand what we're looking at. So thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
Very excited.
Very good.
Yeah, very excited about that restaurant.
When do you open?
Health department is in an hour, so we'll be licensed, I think, today, so middle of June at the latest.
Wow,
Oh,
very
or-
good for
Oh,
you.
Yeah, middle of June, I think.
Middle of June, okay.
Thank you so
Not
much.
far off then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Have a great day.
Okay, our next applicant is Publix. You're here, come on down, come on up, please. If you'll make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourself this morning, and then give us an overview of what you want to do to your downtown store, please.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for having me here. And my name is Marin Katisik. I am with Publix Real Estate and Publix Markets from Lakeland, Florida. We own the center right here in Alpharetta, so we're trying to repaint it and trying to do something similar to what the inside was, where we did a remodel last year. Later this year, we're also going to put a new roof on it, so that'll take care of any roof leaks that we do have in the future. But for today, I just want to talk about the exterior repaint. And then do you need my personal address by any chance, or no?
That's all right, I think we, I
Or
think
was
you
it your
covered,
business? Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
I think you've
awesome.
covered that.
Beautiful. And I have physical color samples if you guys want to see them.
Yeah, why don't
before
you
we
do
get to the
that, please?
presentation. There's a set of them. And there's a second set there.
You hold on to that so
Okay.
you can show them which color you're talking.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, are those being passed? Let's see, did you just have one set of samples? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
there's Mr. Publix himself.
What was that?
I say there's Mr. Publix himself.
Oh, yes, George Jenkins, Mr. George. All right, so I'll get into the purpose. We want to enhance the visual appeal of the shopping center. It's been this brown color for quite a while, and the city has developed downtown really well, so we want to kind of be in similar color scheme of that as well. Hopefully that the colors aren't too gray for you guys. I know we had some comments earlier about that, so hopefully we can make something work. We also want to maintain the, like I said, refresh, unified appearance with a broader streetscape, and then just kind of match our interior of the store as well. So we're not planning to paint any brick, but we do want to wash and seal all of them. And then the exterior paints, we're using the PPG supplied color scheme, and that is our vendor, Pittsburgh Paints, that had provided these drawings for us. And then I'll have show some photos of the current condition so you guys can see what we're looking at currently, and then kind of go into the actual renderings as far as what we're trying to propose to be changed. So this is the front side of the Publix. Kind of the middle left and right side of the actual retail shop, and then our only tent here.
Used to be Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I remember going there.
Before my time for sure, but I've seen them in our lease files. And we do have two signs. I have a photo of one. It's pretty much the same, the second sign that we have. Now the proposed renderings that we have that were provided by PPG, this is the color scheme that they came up for our center. So we'll go through just a few of them, and I can also have the paper copies if you guys wanted to see them or not. And then, you guys all have this, maybe?
Yes, I think that's all in, all.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And I think we had a main conversation during the workshop was this left side by the salon, I
I'll
believe
tell you
it
what,
was.
Mayor, just back up a little bit.
Sir.
Maybe the first or second, or go, let's see, go for one more. All right. Why don't you just walk us through the 1, 2, 3, 4, the colors, and can you hold up?
Oh, yes.
Your color sample as you say, this is going to be number 1, this is going to be number 2.
Yes,
Just
sir.
to kind of get us.
I can do that.
And we don't need the paper copies. All we need, why don't you just hold
Yeah, I
up
just can't
your-
see it, the screen's really small,
Oh,
sorry. I just
got
wanted
it.
to get the
Okay.
physical so I can look
All
at
right,
it,
my
sorry about
apologies.
that. All right, so if we're looking at this slide here, we have the first one, which is toasted almond. Which that'll be this color.
Okay, so that's number 1.
Yes, sir,
Kind of
number
the-
1.
Kind of the body of the building, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, so number 2, we have winter feather. That's more of the metal awning side thin seam that we have, and that is this color.
Okay.
All right, moving on to number 3, we have the off-white. Just this one, very similar to our toasted almond. All right, number 4 is Pegasus. It's more of the trim at the top. That's this color. All right, number 5 is Onyx. It's almost like a black. And that's this one. And finally on this photo, we also have Stepping Stone, which is this one right here.
That's going to be like the standing seam metal roof?
Yes, sir, that seems to be
All right.
correct, yes.
Okay, that kind of gets us, understands the theme, so to speak, so,
Right.
okay. And then why don't you take us through maybe the main entrance of the store there? You had I think you had a rendering or
Of course.
a little bit.
Is this
zoomed-
one okay, or is that too far away?
The zoomed in one, the zoomed in version you had. Oh, I thought I saw, didn't you have
Back
one
one.
in, you had one in our packet?
Yeah, I can,
Go for it, you had it, go forward a little bit. Keep going. Ballot.
this
Or
one's
you
okay?
get that one, I guess. There was one that
Okay.
had the sign, I thought, at the,
Yeah, there,
We have it in the actual renderings, which I can definitely pull up if you would want to.
there was one in our package.
Refer to that.
in the very center.
You're looking for this one most likely, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. Or actually, there was one like head-on even.
Yeah, there was, yeah. Yep, there it is. You got
I've
it.
got it on my application.
Or was it this front one
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. But I didn't see that, maybe,
in the PowerPoint slide? I can get it pulled up. Sorry
thought
about
that
that.
would help kind of as the main entry to your store. Are you planning to do the same theme on your other stores?
So we only own or control about 40% of them, and the repaint is just depending on the budget. So when I made the budget last year for 2026, this store came up in discussion just because it's such an old color scheme. And I took over the center about 3 years ago, so I was trying to do the landscape first, mainly last year, and this year I'm more aesthetic as far as the building goes.
Okay.
Trying to change the color.
Because I know you have another Publix store in Alpharetta as well, so.
That one might be a lease center because I don't oversee it. I have the state of Virginia and then kind of like Cumming, Roswell, Alpharetta, and then kind of go down to Gwinnett County, like Oconee,
Okay.
all those centers. So
Very good. Sorry to interrupt.
no, it's okay. Hopefully this will. Do you mind if I use that one?
Yeah, Joel, do you want to switch to mine? Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, there we go. You're switching.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Oh. You want me to plug it in?
There we go. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. So we'll start with number 1, toasted almond. That is this color.
Kind of the body.
That's more of the under canopy and the back wall on the canopy. Number 2 is winter feather, which we have right here. That's more of the behind the facade sign of the Publix itself. Then move on to number 4, Pegasus, which I believe is this color. That is correct. That's more of those, what they look like, white columns in front. This rendering doesn't show that really well, but that's the color scheme we're looking for.
Looks like all the trim, because you've got the fascia and stuff like that is that color as well.
All right, then we have number 5, which is this onyx right here. And then number 6 is a stepping stone, which is this one right here.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, now let's go to the My Salon side.
Hang on one second, Joel, stay on mine. This is a street view, so there is some delineation in the building that didn't come through on that rendering that we were looking at workshop. So there's definitely some lines and stuff that'll helps break up that side of the building.
Okay, so let's talk about what's proposed, what you're proposing, and then can we flip back and make, Brett's doing all the work here,
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're,
to that elevation. We can kind of see what's being proposed. There we go, okay. So essentially, it's kind of just that number one, the body of the body color,
Yeah, so that'll be number 1, which is this toasted almond color.
okay?
And then the trim is number 4, which is Pegasus, which is this color.
That's up by the E.
And then
right there.
6 would just be the stepping stone, which
Okay.
is,
And that's a pretty predominant side from Main Street there, so.
yes.
Yeah, I would like to see some more articulation or something done on that elevation.
Is there specifically that we wanted to worry about, like the column going up? For the columns, I know that was a comment that was made during workshop. like where the brick goes, go all the way to the top and then go underneath.
Yeah, I think you either need to do something, some sort of kind of pilaster, identify the pilasters or the columns that go up, or do something that's horizontal bands or horizontal panels or something.
You know, looking at this, this portion right here, this brick here,
Yes.
is that right there?
Yes, sir. Or, so, can you go back to the Google Maps view?
Yeah, I think it is. Got the 3 bays of storefront.
I wish there's another.
I can't really get a,
I think it's, so our photo's on the left side, if you, I think it's
this is, yeah, because that's the
Yeah.
back, so this is that
this-
side.
the left
So
side of the store, yeah,
so-
the street view.
The elevation that they give sort of represents that this is all you see on that entire side, where in reality,
Yeah, it's a bigger, there's.
this
much
is
more.
what you see.
There is the screen you were just on, there is a scroll bar at the bottom, is your?
It's just my zoom.
Yeah,
I
okay.
tried that to
So
see if
that
it
is
was,
the whole
yeah,
image?
that's their whole image. Yeah, so their image stops here, basically. So this is still over there.
I will say that showing the actual street view and seeing the control joints a lot more prominently, it looks better than the rendering, for sure.
Yeah, I have a completely different opinion of seeing this, I don't know that we really need to do, in my opinion, anything. Because it looks, it's basically just gonna lighten up a little bit to what's currently there.
All right, hold that thought, though. Now, let's see. Brett, are you driving our map right now?
I am.
You go to the complete opposite side of the store.
Where the,
pergolas
Almost the
are.
on the
Haynes,
park side,
the Haynes Ridge side is,
Mhm.
because I want
That's
to
where
take
the
a,
trellis is, right?
yes, where the trellis is. I want you to take a look at what is up high there. Maybe there's an opportunity to keep that theme of some sort going, so, all right, we're taking a tour, a virtual tour. All right, now you see how up they've got those panels up there. Now, and I don't know what you're proposing to do with them on what you're here, but that's kind of gives it a good theme or a good, some added character to that
Yes.
elevation.
It is subtle, too, so it's not like really contrasting colors. It's a subtle.
And I think those panels actually stand out or do, there's some depth to them or something, but, which is not on the other side, but.
Right.
So we have a rendering of that in the PPG scope that we have. It's,
And it's
I think it's
up high, too, so-
4 or 5 from the last page. Yes, that one. So in this one, they propose to almost blend it into the wall, but we can more than do another color that would make that pop a bit more, but again, not too much.
Yeah, I think that if there's another color introduced, I think it would need to be kind of subtle, not too much contrast. And with that, I think Mr. Kramer's idea of carrying it over to the other side, I think would be complementary.
I agree, but this side doesn't have those multiple score lines, you might say, as the other side does. So it's almost, I need to go back to the other side. Hang on.
So only the Publix building has that on the back and on the side of it. The tenant building does not have those extra designs. It's just the wall itself.
That's, yeah, I understand that. I think what you're saying is that we're just carrying the color through. We're not trying to duplicate what's over on the other
Yeah, I'm
side.
not trying to make you add
Got it.
some depth panels. or
Okay.
anything, just we paint those joints or some of those areas in that same color theme.
Okay.
So you'd almost want to do like these top 3, even though
Yeah.
they're a lot larger than what's on the other end, but you're sort of carrying that thought through. And it's delineated out well that if it was just those 3,
It's almost done for you. You
Yeah.
just have to change the paint color.
And then you don't need to really do anything with the columns or anything, because you've sort of broken it.
But I think we just have to make sure then on the other side of the building, we do those.
Get the
those
same thing.
raised panels have a different color, slightly different paint color.
So on your,
This is toasted almond.
Which, all right, so that's one, and what's the other color?
Toasted almond, and I believe you got off-white, or is it Pegasus?
Off-white.
Off-white, yeah.
So
which
that's
is,
one.
you have, which number is that?
So it's 1 and 3.
I could see that. It works for me.
What color is proposed for this right now?
One.
One. Okay, so one and you'd add three, okay.
Three would be the panels.
And then we're not adding another color to the whole mix, we're
Yep.
using one that's already
Yeah,
there, and
I
I
like
think
that.
this one is probably too much difference. I think it's, I don't,
Where are you changing the colors?
Just those three higher panels between the columns.
so, yeah, if you did those top three things,
So it'd be, oops.
so like you do the other issue, instead of doing the whole thing.
And then we'll do that around the Publix on the side, and
Yeah.
then also behind with the parking
This
garages.
guy.
Well,
Yeah,
these,
so-
these spots
Yes.
that are already
That's
raised
good.
and colored differently now.
Right.
You do,
And then this one.
yeah.
Yep, I think that
You
gives
think
it
it's
just-
too close to the sign, or
Got
you
it.
think it's
Okay,
I think it's-
very easy to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yeah, I think
That's
that's
right. You know, you're gonna be looking down at it if you're up on the street level, so that's, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, and then, were there any, renderings or anything of the rear of the store? I know that's something that you end up seeing kind of,
Is that in your packet?
So when PPG provided it, they did not provide the rear of the store,
okay.
but I do have in my PowerPoint how it currently looks back there. So if we want to take a look at that, we definitely
Or
can.
we can just take a virtual tour.
Okay.
We'll see if the Google,
Brett's our Uber
vehi-
driver.
the Google vehicle drove back in the rear of the store there.
So just while he's pulling that up, we were also talking about on the opposite end with the trellis. The current proposal did have the two colors or
One.
didn't? It
Just
had
a
the one.
toasted almond all the way through.
So
back.
similarly, we want to add the color three to the opposite end of the
With the
building.
same color contrast that exists today.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. They held up 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean, yeah.
I mean,
where-
like
where
the
it's-
same location,
Oh,
where
yes,
the
location,
color
right.
changes as today.
Okay, and this is the rear then, and I assume,
So it'll probably get the darker,
is that gonna be?
It'll get the toasted almond. Yeah.
Toasted almond, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
and you'll paint the screen as well?
The screen is the same color toasted almond, yes.
okay.
And the canopy over the
The loading dock,
loading dock?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, did we take a tour around the building? I guess, did that cover everything that we needed to see? you think? Okay. And then then let's just walk us through one of the monument signs here, if you will.
Yes, of course. So at the very, I guess we'll start at the top and work our way down, if that's okay. So at the very top, we have 6, which is our stepping stone.
And that's a standing seam metal roof?
Yes, sir, which we use
Matches.
for the Publix as well.
Okay,
And moving down, we have 5, which is onyx. It's more for those accents and trim.
the brackets and, yep.
Yes,
okay.
sir. All right, then we have 4, which is right underneath the stepping stone, which is Pegasus.
Okay,
And kind of the outline of the Publix and my salon, we have 3, which is the off-white. I'm sorry, I mean right underneath. That's a 1. So around the Publix sign and the My Salon Suite sign, it's 1 toasted almond. Our favorite color, it seems like, for this center.
okay,
And then moving on to number 2, the very bottom of the sign.
on the base, all right,
Yes, we have winter feather here.
okay.
And I'll just finish up back on off-white number 3. It's above the sign, below the metal standing seam.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the applicant?
Just, go ahead.
Yeah, that My Salon Suite sign, I think, I know that's not part of the application, that's not what we're talking about, but that's just a bad-looking sign, in my opinion. It's just ugly.
You're talking about the building sign you're talking.
Yeah, just, I mean, even on this,
Panel.
on this here, it makes the whole thing look like it's not even centered because of the way the suite's down there, and I think it takes away, I know, again, not part of this application, but if they ever, you're doing a refresh, it looks nice, and you've got a very dated-looking My Salon Suite sign that just is, it feels like something could be done with that at some point in the future that would, again, maybe not even make that sign, this side look as boring. I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree, but I just think
Well,
it's very.
it's interesting. I was looking at what makes it look off-center is the big letter My Salon are off-center, but when you add what does
Yeah.
that say, suite? Then the whole thing is centered. So I actually had a little concern when we talked about introducing that contrasting color. It's going to accentuate
Yeah,
that it's,
it's not centered, yeah.
And also, it's centered on this,
right.
but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's centered here.
It's,
Yes.
right, it's centered in, yeah, right.
And with this down there, it actually looks like it should be this way a little bit, but then you got the columns.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's not the best looking sign. It's been there a long time.
It's been there a long time, that needs a refresh.
All right,
Well, as far as the panel goes, sorry to interrupt, we do have lease language where we can implement that and ask the tenant to go ahead and update it and bring in the fact that the board made comments while we're doing the renderings for the paint. And that's something I can offer up to them and see if they're willing to change out their panels.
well, here's going to be what's going to happen, I think. Now that you're changing the background color, the paint color, the raceway of that sign is now going to be.
It's going to have to get painted well. Yeah, and I'm sure they would paint it.
We'll
I would
paint
hope
it.
they would paint it.
Yes, so whenever
Okay.
it's not called out, but whatever the back of the
Good.
building actually is, the
Okay.
raceways are also getting painted.
Okay, good. Otherwise, it'll really stand out.
Yes,
and
yeah.
be-
So can you, just one more time?
Yes, sir.
Color number one? Can you-
Number one,
okay,
yes.
Okay, that's
Tilted
one.
almond.
And number three?
3, the off-white.
Right, okay. So that's lighter than number one. All right, so
Well,
we're going to be the opposite of what today, the end with the trellis, the
Oh, I
raised
understand.
panels are darker.
all right, which one's number one again?
Tilted,
That's number
tilted
one.
almond, yes,
So
sir.
that's the background color. And now the accent color we're talking about is that, which is actually, to me, looks like a lighter color.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so just to be clear, today, it's darker on the existing paint color on the trellis.
Wait a
side.
minute now. I'm looking at, something's not right here. I'm looking at the application, and I'm looking at My Salon's side. Right?
Yeah, it's number one, right?
Is it number one? Okay, oh, but I'm looking at three. Pittsburgh Paints, it's -3, and the other one is -1.
So, yeah, that's like, I think the paint codes, but then the actual on the renderings, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the numbers are kind of flipped, if that makes sense.
All right, so the accent panels are gonna be darker than the base color.
No, lighter,
Lighter.
with what we just said, right? With
Yeah.
3 being the accent color, will actually be lighter, not darker. It seems backward, doesn't it?
It does, but
I don't think you want the base building that light.
I agree. I don't think that.
No, I wasn't,
accent panels being
but I
darker.
was just wondering, was there another color that's a little darker than number one?
The only reason I grabbed that one is because he's got the color here, then we don't have to say, well, make sure it's a shade. We actually have a color.
No,
we
I
can
mean, out of
prove.
all there's a lot of
Oh.
colors here. Is there another one that would go with number one that's a shade darker?
This is one, and there's nothing darker.
Nothing,
That's great.
okay. So it'd be lighter, yeah.
yeah, the opposite It's almost like, I'm looking at some of the paint colors in this room right now. I think some of them are.
Just say
I mean,
one
it
more
could be
time
okay.
too.
I
and
mean, it
know
could be okay. I
think
just,
it's okay, yeah.
I just not sure it's what we were at and what we were imagining.
I'm looking for a differentiation,
Yeah.
right? Something that'll make it pop a little bit and give it just not a whole field of number one or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So,
Just going back to my comment as well about the sign, and I think if you are going to look at redoing the sign, that kind of change, I feel like that might change some of the thoughts about putting the contrast in here. Because I think it's that the boring bland, I mean, it might as well just say dry cleaners and all block print, you know, and, but if you do something with more character there, you might not need as much contrast in the background.
It's very fine. I just wanted to point
my
out
thought.
because I
Thank
think we
you.
had something different in our mind.
I'm glad you said that, Frank.
Yeah.
I think it still conveys the
still okay.
message of the, okay.
We just had a real-time rendering here done by Mr. Rowland, so.
Okay, any other questions or comments for the applicant? So is anything else happening to the outside of the building? Are you changing out any lights or any, whatever else? is
No,
on-
for this year, it's just the repaint.
Okay,
Trying to get that color change approved.
okay. Okay, does somebody want to craft a motion this
Public.
morning?
I don't think I have any public comment, but
Oh, yes. Any public, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? No public comment, all right? Okay.
all right, I'll give it a try, I guess. Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 260008, Publix. Motion to approve the paint colors as presented with the following conditions. On the My Salon facade, applicant will use color 3, off-white, on the 3 horizontal panels just above the sign. Similarly, on the opposite end of the building, where the trellis is located, applicant will use color 3 as a contrasting color in the same locations where there is a contrasting darker color today. End of motion.
Somebody want to make a second? I'll second the motion to move things along. All right, so motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Kramer. All right, yes. All right. With, are there any comments or questions or discussion items?
I had one question regarding the location of I guess it would be the west elevation.
Is that the My Salon?
The My Salon.
My Salon side, okay, all right.
Is there a thought to consider either lowering the accent color or expanding it to 2 panels? It just seems proportionally that there might be some weight issue. I know that it kind of pulls down that signage, but I feel like it might be a little more balanced than just having this like kind of sliver at the top.
I'm okay either way, yeah. I mean, I think that looks fine.
Having both.
You know, I think I can go either way, so, I mean, but, and that just happens on the My Salon side, not on any other elevations or, like doubling.
Right. Yeah, because on the other side, it was raised.
Yeah, it was very defined. This one, I just felt like it proportionally and scale-wise, we could leave it at the discretion of
What
staff.
are you, you're gonna have to point out to me
Can I
what you're.
show you?
Yep.
Yeah, he was just talking about the next row of panels below, at the sign level. So it would be the
Oh,
panels.
this one down here?
Yeah, the panels I said plus the next row below.
I'm not convinced.
Oh, both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
I mean, that's y'all, yeah, that's y'all's call.
I think
Then
you
you'd
could-
have to offer a friendly amendment.
Yeah,
The other thing you do,
It
sorry,
almost though reverses your base color and your lighter color, because now you're almost gonna have more of the lighter color than you will your base color.
do you think,
Just defines the
all right,
frame
just-
better.
just talking out, do you think maybe above the storefront areas, there needs to be some sort of a header, a distinguished header?
Well, it would sort of give
I
it
mean,
that, if you do
but-
both of those
but-
blocks, it sort of gives it that.
Almost like a lintel or something above those, that would, instead of, does that help or hurt having to do the 2 panels versus 1?
I think with the score lines, you almost have to paint to it. Can you, Joel, can you put mine back on, please?
Let's look at, can we see those score lines again, just to, from street view? Okay, let's see what we got.
So with the score line here, I don't think you could paint
No, I agree.
mid-line.
I agree, there's no obvious lintel there.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
I mean, it's a, yeah.
And when I was saying that you're almost reversing, although I agree, Mr. Rowan, that it proportionally looks right, but if you do both of these, then you've almost made that your base color. Because there's more of it than there is
more
top and
area.
bottom. There's more area. Where on the other end, you've just got a really small blocked thing on the Haynesbridge side. But that's, you guys are the experts. I'm just. This end's a hard side. This is a hard one to.
I'm gonna, as part of the discussion, if the group in general wants to do it, I'll add to the friendly amendment. Otherwise, I'll just let it go. That was just kind of personal feel architecturally, so.
I'm kind of ambivalent on it.
I'd kind of rather leave it alone and see if a sign update would be possible.
Okay.
Just my personal opinion.
One thing that it does do, though, is it gives more three distinct, it lets the columns go up.
That's what I was.
So,
Yeah, which is a good point. Just to be clear, we're not talking about doing the columns,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Just those panels separately.
let me see if I can put Mr. Rowan's picture up on the screen here. Hang on one second.
I could email it as well if that's easier.
That's what I'm trying here. See if I can.
I hate to extend this out, but
No, it's okay.
I walk by there every day.
Hey, we appreciate your guys.
Email it to me. Mine's not letting me paste it.
And then if the sign is ever redone for a different tenant or whatever, they could center it in that larger square, and it'll give a nicer background. Should come through any second. Internet customs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Brett, it's your, yeah, there you go. It's your screen that was still being shared.
Now, the one thing you can't see in this sketch is that there's no column on the end to close it off.
But there's brick down there.
There's brick there, yes.
So my opinion, now I think, since you can't see them together, the two ends, I think I might like this, that lets I feel like it makes the elevation look taller. Because it lets the columns go up. Or feel like they do anyway.
I'm okay with it.
Do you have a preference as the applicant?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm making way too big of a
Yeah.
deal of this.
He's using paint.
You guys are the
All right.
experts, so I'll rely on your guidance.
So I'd like to, if it's okay, I'd like to make a friendly amendment to make the accent color incorporate 2 panels in height instead of 1 panel in height to create a more frame around the accent. End of friendly amendment.
Okay, we have a friendly amendment on the table here. Let's see, Mr. Swing, do you accept the friendly amendment?
I do.
Okay, accepted by Mr. Swing, and then, I guess I did the second, did I? All right, flip that, where did that picture go again? Flip that up again, sorry.
Which one?
The one you.
Oh, Joel,
Okay.
Joel.
All right, all right, I'll accept the friendly amendment as well by Mr. Rowan, so Premier accepts. Okay, any other comments or questions about the motion and the friendly amendment? No other, okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion with the friendly amendment, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed? 1 opposed, okay. All right, motion passes with the friendly amendment 5-1. Thank you for your time this morning, so.
Thank you for your
okay.
time.
All right, very good. Okay. All right, let's take a short recess here, and then we'll get started with the Mayfair at Haynesbridge Road in just a few minutes, so, okay. All right.
Thank you.
So Brett, are you okay when I request that? I just email you over.
Yeah, just email it to me. Yeah, yeah. And if it's gonna take them, I mean,
They're pretty
I'm-
quick. A week is like at the latest.
well, if it's gonna,
I'll still
just, but for you, because you'll need to tell the paint contractor, even if you want to go through this color, and send me that.
Okay.
That's fine too.
We'll do a pre-walk with them anyways and identify certain things, but I still will get the updated renders and email over to you, make sure we get your blessing, and then we'll follow that to a T. Okay. Thank you so much for all your help today. I really appreciate it. Oh, my first one, so.
Already? It does, but the size that's allowed would be substantially smaller, which will change the feel of that a little bit. But I like that's basically exactly what Cricket Kelly was. You get that really dark, blue look to it. There's some brick back, which the brick looks good, but in this, I love it. I think it's great. I like the addition of that. That really gives it a little bit.
I think those might be his. I want to make sure he doesn't leave it all.
Oh, the glasses?
Yeah, they're not mine.
They're not yours either?
I mean, I could use them, my vision's pretty bad.
I wonder whose those are.
Yeah, they're mine. I just wanted to make sure he didn't.
They were laying on top of this paper that.
Oh, they may be Casey's. I bet you they're Casey's.
Because I
Trying to
thought,
give away his glasses.
well, then I was like Mayfair, but then I thought that was Brookside, and it's like, no, we're doing Mayfair now. We're doing Mayfair now, that makes sense.
Trying to give his glasses.
We're trying to give away your glasses.
Oh, please do.
I tried to run them out the door, but then we decided not to.
It's all right.
I was like, oh, someone's.
I lose about a pair a week, so I'm used to it.
I may, like, as when we start doing materials, you may have to help me. go from there.
Yep. 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 And then we had two of the divorce or the, John Scott side. If they want to look at those sides.
And the presentation should be. Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, and I liked how you, I don't know if you were here for the workshop, but how you, on the site plan, you labeled the elevation, name. So that really helped them as well. It was on that other one, but it was, you know, so you had A, B, you know, on that, on the rendered site plan.
Right.
So, yeah, so that really helped out. So I think it's gonna go fine. It'll go quickly and good. So, but I hear.
It's definitely a different organization. I think it's a whole factor hearing the feedback last time
Yeah.
of what they were interested in those folks.
So are you having the third floor, fourth floor problems that the other site is?
No, not here,
Yeah, not here,
because we don't have a habitable lot.
but we're having, us in general are having that with multiple builders. That was a code change that kind of like when we researched, what are the code changes for 2024?
They're good to start.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't ping anywhere. We were just kind of, oh.
yeah, I got a call, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago from a lady, and she said, now they're telling me I can't do my top coat. You can. You just have to sprinkle your house.
And it still
Well, I
can't,
can't put that kind of money.
still can't go over 50%, right, or the floor below.
So,
Either way, it has to be sprinkled,
Yeah.
the way you read the code.
Yeah.
yeah, you can still do it.
Go down.
It's not that. Yeah, it's gonna cost you a lot more money to build your house. Sorry.
But then you gotta
Wasn't
go,
us.
you gotta go to Fulton County, get a tap for the sprinkler. It's gotta be a separate can. You can't use domestic line.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, so we're dealing with.
Yeah, and if the site doesn't have already a commercial thing, Fulton County's probably gonna make the site put in the
Yeah,
$15,000 deal.
Yeah, we're lucky at Mayfair, we've got a main.
Yeah, commercial.
But it's still a $16,000 tap. The 2 inches is $16,000 tap. Yeah, but we save on some of the framing, so it's kind of a wash.
Yeah,
Always fun.
it's always a dance.
If I was smart, I would have permitted them before the end of the year, but we only had 3 left.
I mean,
Yeah,
we were sitting in our first staff meeting when the JB, the building official, brought it up, and he's like, by the way, this is gonna probably get impacted, and we're like, huh?
we have multiple builders it's impacting.
Richard, we're ready whenever you are.
Okay, let's end our recess this morning and get started with our next application, and that's going to be Mayfair at Haynes Bridge. We did have one note, we did have 2 board members recuse themselves from this application, so Mr. Rowan and Mr. Boehm are no longer with us, but we still have a quorum, so and then there were 4, so there's 4 of us now this morning. But speaking in the microphone, if you will, please introduce yourselves, name and address, and then walk us through what we have in our packet today, please.
great. Good morning. My name is Casey Hill. I'm with KAO Land Group, the owner and principal of KAO Land Group, one of the owners at Mayfair at Haynesbridge Road, as well as the acting manager for the ownership entity at Mayfair at Haynesbridge. I'm with Amanda Blue. I'll let her walk you through the majority of the presentation. She can introduce herself and walk you through it. I'll just give you a brief introduction. As you may recall, Mayfair at Haynesbridge is located at the southwest corner of Haynesbridge and DeVore Road.
with the main entrance off of John Scott. It's 17, I think, thoughtfully planned, single-family homes in that location. It fits within the downtown overlay district, and given the, as you will see as Amanda walks you through the presentation, based on your feedback from the original, or the initial meeting in March, we've added some specific sightlines, elevations, call-outs of materials and building materials, which I think will be very helpful for you today. It fits well, like I said, in downtown overlay district with a combination of architectural styles, building materials, massing, porch elevations, which adds a tremendous amount of character as well as diversity to our streetscapes. So with that, I'll turn it over to Amanda. She can walk you through the bulk of the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. Appreciate it. All right, Amanda,
Hi, I'm Amanda Blue. I'm with Main Street Designs here in Alpharetta.
welcome back.
Thank you. Based on our initial meeting, we came back with a clarified presentation that really focuses on what you guys wanted to see, which is the street views from John Scott, DeVore, and Haynes Bridge. So you'll see that in your packet. We'll start from one side and we'll kind of work our way around that U. We'll look at all the exterior elevations. We've also rendered them. They are rendered based on the color scheme packages that you see also in your presentation, and I have the materials here. We can walk through that as well. But if we walk through the architecture part of it first, and then we can go through the materials, if that's okay with you guys, that's how I'd like to proceed. Okay.
Let's do that.
So cover sheet here, we're just seeing kind of an overall view. You guys saw this in your initial packet. This really is just kind of giving you the character and layout of the community. We have labeled on each lot the elevation that we're proposing for that lot. That's what we use to generate the front and side elevation renderings that will be viewed from the street. So we'll kind of walk through those as well.
And that's the letter designation, right?
The letter designation
Yeah, okay.
matches up, because we have multiple plans in this community, so if you see an A multiple times, it does not mean it's the same elevation necessarily. So what you'll see is lots 1 through 6. Turn my mouse on here. Lots 1 through 6 are a specific plan. Lots 7 through 13 are a second plan, and then lots 15 through 17 are another plan, with 14 being a lot-specific plan. So it will be a variation of that plan. So on 1 through 6, if you see an A elevation, you'll see that there's only 2 repeats in that sequence. And then on lots 7 through 13, you'll see that nothing repeats more than twice. There's no elevation that'll show up more than 2 times in the entire community.
The letters are the elevations. So if it says elevation A, I'm sorry, I did quite fine. If it says elevation A, it doesn't mean it's the same elevation, right? Because
So on 1 through 6, we're just going to call that Plan 1, okay?
Yeah.
On 1 through 6, Plan 1, there's 2 elevation As, meaning it does get repeated, but it's facing 2 different streets. But it never gets repeated more than twice.
Okay, so elevation, okay, so elevation A isn't designating a particular side of the building?
No.
It's the whole building?
The whole building.
Okay, all right. So the 2 there that say A will have the exact same elevation of materials?
Correct, different color schemes, but yes.
Oh, different color schemes, so the materials
we
will
will
be
paint them.
different, but, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
so we will, the actual material, they both may be brick, and they'll have the same architecture, but we'll apply different materials to those. So
Okay.
there is not an exact repeat.
Got it, same elevation, different color, different material, okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we're going to start, I'm going to start on John Scott, and we're going to look at the side of lot 17 and the front of lot 1 first. So we're going to start there, and we're going to work our way around. So what you're seeing here is kind of the entry road, the side of 17, and then the front of lot 1. And the initial meeting, we went through elevations, and there were no real comments on the architecture portion of it. So really today, we're looking more at how the colors are applied, and then we can also look at materials.
Okay, so on this one, lot 1, the front elevation, that's facing the interior street.
Well,
Lot 1, front elevation A.
So
No,
this shot is as if you're standing on John Scott. So lot
This
one,
is?
you would see the front of lot one and you would see the
That's-
side of 17.
So that's the front. Okay, so the front faces John Scott. Okay,
And because as you're coming up to that area at an angle, the next page will actually cover the front of 17 and the side of lot one. Does
and
that
the
make
side
sense?
of it, okay, all right.
So that kind of covers those two buildings. And then as we work our way around, you're gonna see,
Can we just, before you go too fast, go back to the first page,
Okay.
please?
All right.
Okay, so these are the two John Scott elevation.
and then you'll have your entryway and signage and that stuff in between.
So the main, for lot 17 then, the main entrance to the house
It's to the left,
is
faces the
face-
interior street, I guess, right?
yes, faces the interior street and faces, okay. All right. Okay. And is that, you think that's a true representation of the topography?
It's close. You know, we don't have we base that off of grading and knowing it's gonna slope down.
Okay.
Knowing that we have a rear entry product there that has the drive under garage. But yes, there will be, site walls and other things in place as far as landscaping. So a true representation, no, it's more of an artistic representation to show you the elevation portion.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
What's not depicted on here is our entry monumentation. All along John Scott, there is a 2 to 3 foot decorative monument wall that wraps around the corner of the entry with a monument. So what you won't see is a grade change from John Scott because that 2 foot monument wall will be there. So it is depictive of the grade once you get behind that wall, but you really won't see that grade change from John Scott because of the wall, the monument wall that's there.
Okay. I'm sorry, I hate to keep backing you up here, but could you go back to the site plan, one page? So just to clarify, what is the front facade of all of the lots? On 1 through 5, the front is facing John Scott or DeVore, right? So that's the
Correct.
front side all the way around. All right, and then we go through lot 6 to 13, the front will face Haynesbridge?
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right, and then on the other ones, the remaining 14 to 17, it'll face the interior street, right? 14, 15, 16, and 17, the front of those lots faces the interior street.
Correct.
All right, so the only sort of facade that's not a front facade facing one of the main streets is that lot 17.
That's correct.
The side faces John Scott. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, you
That helps.
keep going, thank you.
Now, you will see as we work our way around the curve and there's more of an angle, we included those rendered versions of what that side would look
Yeah,
like.
perfect, yep.
Just so you kind of see how the materials wrap, what each side is facing each other. So we have that in the presentation as well.
Okay, thank you.
You'll never see it dead on like you will 17.
Right.
And then one of the comments that came back in our initial meeting was making sure we labeled materials. So I think we did two things. We rendered it. Typically, when we do a 2D rendering, it is with the actual Sherwin-Williams color numbers. It's with the actual brick images. So you'll see call-outs of what the materials are, but you should also be able to tell from the colors and the rendering what's painted, what's brick.
All right, it looked like you brought samples of.
I did.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I don't know when you want to look at
She was
those,
gonna, she
or-
kind of she mentioned she was gonna kind of walk us through this and then she could kind of come back and. hold
And then
us
come
in here.
back?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just kind of go through the.
Get the
where they-
broad brush.
Yes. Some color scheme.
So the next image, just because as you're entering the community, you will see the side of Lot 1 and you will see the front of Lot 17. The next image sort of shows that as well. These are not going to be side by side. It's not an exact rendering of what you would actually see, but it does represent both of those because they will be visible as you're entering the community.
And again, this is the interior road or the interior.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And then as you work your way around John Scott, you're gonna see there's a little bit of lot 1 and 2 that's visible from the side, so I have those represented. But really, you see lot 2 this is the front elevation of lot 2.
And that's the one that kind of faces catty corner diagonally to John Scott and DeVore, that intersection almost, all right?
And then you see lots 3, 4, and 5. And again, they're a little bit of an angle there, but we're representing those as dead-on elevation so you can see them next to each other. And yes, and these face DeVore.
So it's 5, lot 4 and 3. Okay, I see. 5, 4, and 3. Okay.
And then as you work your way around, you're gonna see the sides of 5 and 6 because they're at the angle as you're coming around DeVore going on the Haynes Bridge.
So on this one, the front corners closest to the street is the two inside parts of your photo?
Correct.
What is in that top right, top left area?
Yeah, because you mean because there's no windows? It's
Yeah,
just,
because is that probably, that's probably the master bedroom or something with the 3 and then maybe the bathroom beside it?
or a closet.
Or closet, yeah. You know what, see
So
what,
that's the front corners, that,
You'd want a little more architectural detail.
yeah, something, even if it's just brick detail, maybe right there.
Or one of those faux bricked-in windows.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I think we can do that.
Where would that fall?
It's really right here, so we could easily do
That's
it.
not on the upper story though, is it? Oh, that is in the loft, okay, yeah, yeah. So that's like a fireplace?
Yeah, we could easily add, this just representation of media T. So we could
Oh.
easily add a window or high windows, transom windows to get some daylight in there as well.
I mean, that would probably, daylight would probably help that room, if that is a loft in there, yeah. But I think for us, just some detail on the outside would,
And we could probably line up the windows below. So if I go to, go back to the presentation.
all right, which lot is that? That's number
Right, so you're looking at
so it's at
here.
the corner.
No,
We could line up those windows above in the loft and kind of center that
So
furniture and
where
easily
is
do that.
this, where is that single? Is that
That's already
beside
there.
that media
Mhm.
thing? So you would just do another one over there?
Yeah, we could do another one, and we could also make those larger.
I think it would help if they were
mean
larger
it-
and do another one.
an actual window.
Yeah, actual window. There's no reason we can't do an actual window there.
So that small window that's a larger window, make that a larger window, and then a matching one on the opposite.
So you would have top and bottom the same.
And would you guys want that to be a larger window?
I think it certainly would look better, yeah, if it was like, that size.
We can do that on the upper ones. The lower ones are a little harder because we have the fireplace and some built-in shelves.
Yeah, no, I think
and-
that's good, just on the second floor, I think, to fill that big empty space, right?
That does help a lot.
So we can do that on, we'll actually probably do that on every, it'll just be a standard on that side elevation.
That way the framer knows what he's doing on the side each time.
Yeah. That's easy.
That helps.
Okay?
Thank you.
Mhm.
I think that's a good addition.
Yeah, that's easy. Okay, as we work our way around, you're gonna see, as we get to Haynes Bridge, you're gonna see lot 6 is on the right. It's your corner. And then you start working down Haynes Bridge, and that becomes a different plan. So you're gonna see lot 7 is now a 3-story plan because we have a little bit of a difference in grade there. So we're no longer a drive under, we can be 3-story out of the ground. And then these elevations have different porches, varying architecture. Some of them have 3 stories, some of them have 2-story porches. So there's a lot of variation that we're trying to provide in the architecture. One of the things that we're trying to do with color is you'll see that it's a very kind of earthy, natural color schemes on most of the elevations. And you'll see as we start to present those as well, there's a lot of the colors that we're using maybe more than once, but we may be applying them different. So anytime you apply a color scheme, you can have an all brick house where a color scheme looks one way, and then, 50% brick on the next house and the same color scheme looks completely different, so. And then as you work your way down, you'll see the next four, which is 10 through 13. And this pretty much is the end of what's happening on Haynes Bridge. And that covers everything that's street facing on all three streets.
So quick question then, it looks like though this is going to be extended, there's going to be some more homes, right? Marching down Haynes Bridge for phase 2 or whatever it may be? Okay.
Correct.
And that's part of the same development?
That would be,
It is part of,
Okay,
it is part of the same development, and the home that face Haynes Bridge will mirror these types of floor plans and elevations.
all right,
They just have not been designed yet. but-
okay.
Is there going to be a break? It appears there's some sort of break between what will be 13 and then what will be the next house.
That actually went away with the phase 2.
So it went away
Yeah,
with the,
yeah,
with phase 2?
yep.
Okay,
Do you know how many are in phase 2 along there?
There's an additional 10 home sites in phase 2. Oh, along there's, I think, there's 5 additional ones there, and then there's another 5 that come back up.
on John Scott or whatever the,
It comes internal to the community.
oh, I see, oh, I see.
There's
Okay.
existing homes that buffer phase 2 from John Scott.
Okay. But we're not looking at, that's not part of this review. Okay. Okay, all right, why don't you walk us through the various color schemes?
so usually what we do when we present colors is we sort of start from the bottom up in the way that we present them so that you'll see the masonry or the heaviest base at the bottom and our roofing is at the top. You'll see window, front door color, garage door colors, shutters, roof color, metal roof color. What I have is samples of all the major materials. We can walk through those in order of the schemes.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that if you can and maybe set them up somewhere or put them on
We'll-
something or,
And we have a few, so
that's all right.
I have them organized by scheme color.
Okay, well, that's good.
Do you have a place you want us to hold them, or?
Well, let's see. Maybe you put one scheme in front of or lean it up against one of the desks. And then maybe the other scheme goes in front of Brett's credenza or desk right there.
So what I'll do is, here's a group.
And I need to just speak into the mic. Is there a handheld one that Amanda can use while she's,
So what I'll do is I'll group them based on the roof color, because that gets repeated.
okay?
So scheme 1 and 2 both have the same roof, so I'll put those on one side and then
Okay.
just sort of group them like that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's 2. And then if we could group these, is it okay if we group these in sort of like groups of 3? Or do you want to see all 8?
No, I think you can group them.
Okay.
And I guess if we get confused, then we may have to have you separate them, but
So what you're seeing here is scheme 1, 2, and 3. They all share the weathered wood roofing. So this would be 1,
okay, all right.
this is 2, and this is 3. Let me make sure that's right. There we go. Go ahead.
All right, say again, which is one,
This is 1,
one,
2, 3. And if you want me to walk through what each color is, I can do that as well.
why don't you, can you pull up what colors, which house or which home has color scheme one, for instance? Kind of
Okay.
just that, and then we can look at the samples while you're
I'll go back to the site plan.
on them.
Actually, let's do this.
Because it looks like color scheme one is lot two.
Should be right here. Okay. So color scheme 1 is going on lot 2, which is that architecture that you're seeing.
Okay, and that's the lot that's kind of catty corner to John Scott.
Correct.
Right. Okay, so we've got the brick, let's see, you've got the brick. Can you use your pointer just to show us the areas of the different?
So what you're seeing here is your brick and brick around the entry.
All right,
The shingles would be the weathered wood, which you see there.
okay, that's common between all three color schemes,
Mm-hmm.
all right?
The lighter color is the largest sample, which is your main siding color.
Okay,
The top color, which is the blue, is your front door color.
okay,
And then the darker color is your trim.
all right. And then there's one more color.
That's your eaves and fascia.
Ah, got it. Okay, so that's color scheme one.
Correct.
And then, for instance, the chimney is,
Would be the same as your main siding colors, the way we're painting that.
okay,
That's stucco.
okay. All right, so color scheme one, okay. And do you have any other elevations? Do you have, that's the front elevation. Do you have side elevations for lot two? There we go.
For lot 2, this is visible because it's at a little bit of an angle. This would be your side elevation. You would see mostly brick from the street. And then from the interior, you would see a combination of brick and siding with your trim and fascia colors.
Okay. All right, and then how about the other, the left elevation? Do we have, am I pushing my luck?
Maybe. No, I do not have, we only rendered the sides facing the street. So if they're directly facing another building.
Okay, okay, so that's color scheme one. All right, let's go to color scheme two, which is lot 5.
Okay, we'll start here. All right, color scheme 2. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go.
There we go. Okay,
You have your brick color.
5, okay.
And Casey, if you look at the back, it's listed what's what on the back, so you can point at the same time. So you have your brick color, it's the same weathered wood shingle. You have your main siding color, which is the largest color on the sample sheet. They're taped together. Yeah. Yeah, so this is my legend.
Okay.
The next color up is eaves and fascia.
Okay,
So eaves, fascia, trim. The second from the top is your shutters. And then the top is your door. And this one has stained door, so that's a stained color.
okay, I don't see any shutters, but,
Yeah, it would depend on how it applies. So we build our schemes so that they can apply to multiple elevations. So if an elevation has shutters, that's the color that we would pick for it.
I see, okay. All right, so that's color scheme 2, and do you have just a side elevation of that? So that's 5, because that's the one that faces Devore.
Right, and this is the side that you can actually see.
so that's 5, color scheme 2. All right, then right next door is color scheme 3 for lot 6.
So this has more of a, kind of a traditional but more rustic red brick, so it will look different. It's very hard on a rendering, especially on your screen, to get that to view the way the actual brick views. So you have the brick color, you have your siding color, which is the largest sample. Your trim should be the next, that's trim, eaves, and fascia. Your next should be your shutter color. This house, let me go back to the front, does not have shutters. And then the top is your stained door color.
Okay, so all right, like the bay window there, the trim around, or the color around the bay window is the
Trim color.
trim color, which is the second color up from the bottom there.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
And most of the time when we're painting trim and panels, we'll do a monochromatic. It just has a little bit richer look to me than kind of having the striping that you get with the contrast of trim and siding. So any panel work that we do, we will paint it a single color.
Okay.
So, and I'm sorry, you may have said this, but the window trim color, or the color of the windows themselves, it's a darker color?
Yeah, the window trim color for this package is the same as the eaves and fascia.
Same as the eaves and fascia?
Mhm.
Okay. So when you say, I'm kind of not sure if when we say, I didn't necessarily mean to say trim, I meant the windows.
The window itself.
Sashes themselves, are they all the same on all the?
So we have 2 different colors, and it depends on the scheme. There's a bronze and sort of more of a clay color,
Okay,
and that depends on which scheme we're kind of pairing it with. Most of them are bronze, but we do introduce clay into a couple of those.
bronze or clay, okay. So where we see it darker in the renderings, obviously that's the bronze.
Correct. We don't have white anywhere. And then just so you guys know, this is our roof color,
That's what, sorry?
our metal roof color.
Your metal roof color?
It's just a
Okay. Okay.
bronze metal roof.
Okay, we've gone through 1 through 3.
All right, we'll set up 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
So just one thing, I'm just thinking out loud here on this, so go
I'm trying
ahead.
to think.
So 1, 2, and 3 all have the same roof, right? And imagine we're gonna get the 4, 5, and 6 probably have the same roof.
Not necessarily.
Something like that, but I'm just, I like the variety of facades. I was just thinking through that in some cases, it's gonna be the same roof on adjacent buildings and, you know what I mean?
Not necessarily.
Well, but
Let's
looking
see.
at like lots 1 and 2,
Okay,
that's
yes.
color scheme 3 and 1, so those
Yeah,
will be the same.
that's true, that's
Lots
true.
5 and 6 are color scheme 2 and 3, so that would be the same roof.
6, yeah, 2 and 3, okay.
I'm just trying to think, does that matter?
I think most roofs are pretty dark anyway.
Yeah.
Come from a subdivision,
I'm not something,
just in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
that
it's-
It was required that the builder put the exact same roof on.
sometimes it's the same on every one, right? Yeah,
It really isn't about that.
no.
It kind of went away. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it looked better than if you did every other one something different.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna get there as somebody replaces.
Somebody, yeah. I think about it in our neighborhood, they are whatever the,
Yeah.
homeowner
Whatever
decides
the
within
homeowner
it.
wants and can afford at that point.
And I'll tell you what's changed too, though, is the architectural shingle has brought out a lot more.
You get more definition, yeah, for
Than
sure.
just the older shingle style, which was
Right.
just a flat piece of asphalt with some granular
Yeah.
stuff that.
I was trying to, like, if we get, I don't know, 4 and 6 are gonna be the same, but it'd be 2 the same, 2 the same, 2 the same. I guess that's fine.
4 and 6 are gonna be different.
Are they? Okay.
Lots 4 and lot 6, right? Yeah.
Or 3 and 4. So,
Let's see.
so
3 and
schemes
4.
4 and 6. There's schemes 4 and 6, and lots 3 and 4.
Okay, they're gonna be the same. They'll have the same roof
Yeah,
color.
so, same.
Or, well, they'll be, yeah, that, and then it should
Right, they'll be in twos, yeah, two.
4 or 5.
Well, it's certainly easier to buy a whole pallet of the same color shingles than it is to.
I mean, they're all they're not that different anyway. I mean, they're complementary. Fine.
Okay, looks like we're on to 4 through 6.
4 through 6, we have 4 and 5 share the colonial slate roof, and then 6 has the weathered wood again.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay. They will change.
Well, let's see if I can find scheme 4 here. Here we go. So scheme 4 shows up on lot 4. So on this one, you're going to get a lot of the brick. So for scheme 4, you're getting, this is your main siding color. This is your trim color. This is your shutter color, which on that, we do not have shutters. And then this is your stained front door.
Okay. All right, so that's 4, okay. We gotta go to lot 17 now.
And I'll go to the front of 17.
Okay.
So this one you have kind of the first floor brick in one area. Let me grab this. So the lighter color is your main siding. This is your eaves, fascia, and trim. This is shutters if we have them. And then this is front door.
All right, now we're going to lot 3.
Lot 3, again, is first floor brick. And it has the weathered wood shingle. So this is your main siding color. Eaves, fascia, trim. Shutters, if we have it, will be this color. And stained front door. So a lot of this is going to be these two colors with your brick.
It's also a smooth panel.
Right, and any smooth panel that we show, we're always painting that the same as a trim color, so that it has that monochromatic look on a bay.
Yeah, this one kind of has a little bit of a Tudor accent to it almost, kind of. Okay. All right.
So we'll set up 7 and 8. I will say 8, I don't have a stone sample, it's a natural stone. It is the Tennessee fieldstone you buy by the pallet. Not something easy to bring in. But we do have a photo on the color sample sheet, and then I can show you everything that will be paired with it.
Okay.
Thank you for using real stone. Thank you for using real stone.
All right, so let's see what we have here. This is 7. This is 8. So if we look at lot 7, you'll see color scheme 7.
Okay,
Color scheme 7, this is your brick color. Again, the lighter color is your main siding. Eaves fascia trim, shutters if we have them, and then door color.
all right. It looks like this house is primarily brick, at least on the front elevation.
Right, so if we apply the same color scheme to a different house, whether it's phase 1 or phase 2, it's gonna have a very different look. We would apply it to a house that had more siding, so that you could have the two schemes on two different houses, but you would never know that they were basically the same scheme, because they would look very different.
Because you're changing the materials rather.
Yes, correct. Especially the amount of material makes a big difference.
Okay. So for instance, this house, lot 7, the front elevation is brick. Does that mean all 4 elevations are brick?
We transition it as we go around, so we can look
Okay.
at that in our black lines. If you'll give me a second to show you what that looks like. Is that the elevation?
Oh,
Yeah.
I see, 7.
So what we would do is we would transition it to siding,
Okay,
and here we're building in some panels to make that transition,
okay,
because we have windows that we can line up there. Again, those panels would be painted out very monochromatic so that we're not getting a lot of like striping and rectangles. And then we would transition to siding as we work our way around the back, and then it would wrap back around.
all right, that's good. Well, it does help turn that brick then, so you turn the corner with it and give it,
Correct.
okay. Because the homes are pretty close together.
Yes.
So what are the side yard setbacks, like 10 feet, 5 feet?
I think we're at 10 feet.
10 feet, so they're
Or-
20 feet.
Yeah, 5 and 5.
10
So
foot.
10 foot between the houses, so 5 and 5 to the property lines.
Okay. All right, good, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was color scheme 7.
Right, and then color scheme 8 is gonna be on lot 17.
No, that's color scheme 5.
Oh, that's rendered wrong. It's on, yeah, it's on one of the, we actually switched elevations here. It's on one of the interior lots, so you don't really see that from the street.
When you say interior lot, so it's gonna be
It's gonna be
Fif-
13, well, 14, 15, or 16.
Okay,
So you don't see those from John Scott, DeVore, or Haynesbridge.
okay, all right,
And that will be the stone elevation that has this color scheme and the weathered wood roof with a natural earthy stone color, the Tennessee fieldstone.
okay. All right. Anything else? So Brett, we're really just looking at exterior elevations and materials. Okay. All right, how about, just out of curiosity, somebody wants some exterior sconces or lighting or whatever, how is those fixtures, or how are those fixtures selected? Is that something that's,
We're also the builder here. We would not allow them to do anything that's out of our standard lighting package.
Okay.
So just coach lights on the garage and on the front porch. Sometimes recessed cans on the front porch, but no floodlights, and nothing exterior to the building.
okay? Okay, just trying to think of anything else on the exterior of a house that we may be seeing that maybe we don't want to see. You know, dryer vents or vents from the fireplace or
All our fireplaces, we have a chase for the fireplace. Some are functional, some are decorative.
okay,
But we always try to put our dryer vents or any kind of vents to where they're not visible from the road.
Okay.
The last thing we'd ever want to see is lint coming out of the dryer vent in the front of the house, getting all over the bushes. So we do the best we can, especially on roof vents and things like that.
Yeah,
Put
roof
them on the
vents.
backside.
So, are the attics, I assume they're ventilated, how are they ventilated? First, do you do a ridge vent for the roof, or do you do
Yeah, we
gable?
typically would do ridge vents, but
Okay.
we, depending on the architecture and what our structural engineer comes up with, that may change. Typically, we do ridge vents or turtlebacks.
Okay. All right. Any other questions here for the applicant? Richard, anything that you can? All right. Well, I will do this. I'll ask for, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? No public comment.
Surprising.
All right.
Consider the room is empty.
Okay, and this is for the first phase, so this is for buildings or homes 1 through 17, correct? Yes.
Correct.
Or lots 1 through
Lots.
17. All right, I think you've done a good job of describing all the different materials and paint colors and all that, so.
Yeah, and I like the variety of facades. I think it looks,
Yeah,
I mean, one of the things we struggle with quite often is we get facades that are too much the same. This, I think you've done a good job with variety, but keeping it all consistent with the materials, so. So with that, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 260002, Mayfair at Haynesbridge, motion to approve the elevation and materials as presented with the following condition. On the opposing side elevations of lots 5 and 6, on the second floor towards the front side, applicant will enlarge the existing small window and add an identical window opposite it towards the corner. Similar, but not necessarily identical scale to the other larger second floor windows. End of motion.
Second.
all right, we have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Owens. And
Is that clear enough?
And you were referencing lots 5 and 6, correct?
Lots 5 and 6, these
Okay.
are the opposing sides.
All right, can you just pull up lots 5 and the elevations for, I think that was the one you were sketching on, if I recall, just to make sure we're clear on that. Five and 6, there we go. So that's your
Right,
reference.
and those two sides face each other, so that's why I said the opposing side elevations. Second floor towards the front. And I didn't think those windows necessarily needed to be the same size as the other windows. I'm not sure what works exactly. They might have, like, for example, the other second floor window's a little bigger, right? Maybe these two would be the same as that. But I just wanted to say they would be a similar scale.
Okay, so and again, the windows you're manipulating right now, is that lot 5 or 6?
5 and 6.
6. Okay,
1 through 6.
You're right, these are, the way these are drawn, they're not like that, they're like that, right?
well, I'm just making sure, I'm looking at lots.
Yeah, so the two sides we're talking about, it's right here and right here.
Just a clarification,
Here,
if I
here.
could. I think the motion should be for lots 1 through 6 because of the same floor plan. We'd make the change on all those lots as
Yeah, and
opposed
I
to just
think
5 and 6.
that's fine, yeah.
All right,
It-
just-
Okay, you'll need to restate the motion.
I don't think we need, if they want to change more, they can do that. I don't think we have to require that. We're only talking about.
Yeah, we're just requiring it on those.
For your needs, you can do that. You just have to on those two.
Okay, all right.
All right, help me out again. Let's see, if you just zoom out a little bit on the elevations, I'll say lot 6, that's lot 6 on the right-hand side. I'm trying to figure out which elevation that is when you look at it on the site plan.
It's the right
Okay.
elevation.
Well, is that facing
Well, it's the right
the
elevation,
Vor?
one and the left of the other.
All right, can you now flip to your site plan a minute?
Yes.
Right, hold that picture right, or we're looking at lot 6. It's partially brick and it's partially siding. Okay, now if you take us to the site plan for 6, lot 6. All right, it's partially siding and it's partially brick, so which,
It's this elevation here.
that's the elevation. that
So
we're
we would
looking
wrap brick to this inside corner, then
Okay.
we would pick up siding on the rear.
at. Okay. All right, just want to be sure. And then lot 5, the side we were looking at is the one that faces lot 6.
Correct.
That elevation, and that's brick on that side, and then the siding in the rear. Okay, just wanted to be sure I was understanding that. And then again,
Almost from the intersection, it would appear that it's a four-sided brick home.
Right.
and that's
Our
what I,
transitions would happen at the interior corner too, as we wrap that around.
and then again, you were talking about doing that also on lot 4, 3, 2, and 1? Is that, if they,
That wasn't his motion.
no, I agree, if they choose to,
Yes,
but,
they could, yeah.
but for lot 4, the side elevation facing lot 3, that first piece, or that is brick, and then the recessed kind of area on the floor plan is the siding. Okay, got it. Okay,
I mean, not that you can't change your motion and
No,
create all
no.
of them, but
no, I'm not, but I think it,
And I will clarify, when I say it's brick, it is whatever the front material is wrapped around that side.
Yeah,
So if
right,
that front
okay.
is first floor brick, then we would wrap first floor brick.
okay. Okay, very good. All right, are there any other questions, concerns, comments about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 4-0. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this morning. We appreciate the thoroughness of your bringing in the material and going through all the elevations with us. Okay. All right, for board members that are still here, our next meeting is going to be Friday, June 19th. So put that on your calendar, please. And with there being no further business and no objections from fellow board members, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you. Okay. Say 11:40. All right.
got your glasses, Casey.
Jim, thank you for,
We're not gonna try to give them away again.
Richard, thank you for being here. See you next month.